Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs through his top 10 two-player games. And this is not the first time I have made this run through. About 5 years ago, I came up with a list of 10 games that I absolutely adore for me and my wife. Now, to be fair, all the games that are surrounding me are all great two-player games, but this is specifically a list of games that are just for two, although some of them will work well as a solo game as well. So, I figured it's been 5 years. I should update the list, and I figured this time I won't do it alone. And here's a little bit weird. You'd think, oh, I'm going to be talking about two-player games. I should bring in one other person so we can have two people talking. No. That's not how I go. We brought in two people, so it's three people. Hey!
Hello! Hi! So excited to be here.
I'm excited.
Hi, everyone.
This is Ella and Stella. Two wonderful board game media personalities down under. Ella is the head of Ella Loves Board Games, and Stella is... I'm going to call you the head of Meeple University. Taryn, I'm sure...
It's true.
He knows where the bread is buttered.
He's happy.
Now,
He's happy with that.
Both of their channels are down in the show notes. You can hit that eye in the top right corner of the screen to go check them out. They cover a wide range of stuff. In fact, actually, the two of them are really good friends in real life, and you often do collaborations together. When we were setting up for this, I realized they know a lot more about how to do this kind of stuff than I do. So if anything goes wrong, it's all on me. They are here, though. And, yeah, so you guys both have a list, right? They're all two-player only or solo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We don't know each other's list here, right?
Yeah.
This is
No,
quite
not at all.
exciting.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. What they have both done is they have sent me emails that are literally just have a countdown from 10 to 1 with URL links on them. So I click on them, it'll pop up, and we will all discover that, oh, I should have thought of that. Or, what are you thinking? One way or the other. We will get to that. Did you guys have a hard time coming up with this? Or do you, I mean, I know Stella does a lot of two-player gaming. I assume Ella does as well.
I do. That's mostly how I play. But I found it hard just because there were some games that I thought were two-player, but they're not. They're like 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't put that on. Which is like, oh, sorry. That's a bit noisy. Do you hear it? My husband is coming in the door.
Your husband?
No? Yeah, with the dogs.
Hi, Ella's husband.
Hey!
So sorry.
Let's have a special guest appearance. I don't think I've ever seen him on camera. And it's not happening today?
Okay. No, it's not happening
Yeah,
today.
he just backed slowly away from the door.
Yeah.
That's all right. For me, it is quite, I don't know, I guess it's not that hard. I've always have the list, but the list that I have is the one that plays 2 to 4 plays, sort of like Ella.
Yeah.
And then the hard bit is probably arranging it from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10. So
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's always the worst. How do you choose? They're so different games. Like, how do you make one a 10 and the other one a 9? I just want to say everything here gets the same love for me.
They're all tied for first place as far as I'm
Yes.
concerned. All right.
Yeah, anything that gets into the top 10 is a fairly good game for me.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd say that's
Correct.
a fair.
Yeah.
true.
That's certainly true. Now, like I said, I did one 5 years ago, and I decided to come up with a completely new list of 10. So really, my top 10 is, as far as I'm concerned, my favorite ones that have come out literally in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So mine's going to be all Cult of the New. I imagine you two will both probably reach far and wide and maybe go a bit deeper than me.
Yeah, I'll have a mix.
Yeah. And my original top 10
mix.
is, you can hit that eye as well, or the link for it is down in the show notes. But I don't know, are you ready to go?
Yes, let's
All
do
right,
this.
let me find the button to go over. Oh, let me make sure I've got it queued up. Yes, I've got my number 10. Oh, wait, what are we going to do? All right, I guess it's going to be me,
who goes
Stella,
first?
Ella, because completely randomly, Ella was in Indie slot 3, according to Skype, and Ella got number 2, totally randomly, so Skype has decreed that Stella will be second. Alrighty then.
Okay.
Then let's get going with my number 10, Fugitive.
Oh, that's what it was.
I actually showed them this before we started filming. I said, can you recognize this? Because this is a prototype I had when it was on Kickstarter a million years ago, and they had no idea what I was
It looks so
playing
different.
here. Yeah,
No.
and I should say, the real final published Fugitive looks gorgeous from Tim Fowler Games. And there's my wife, Jen. We were playing together. This is a very, very cool bluffing game where one player is basically Tommy Lee Jones from the movie The Fugitive, and the other player is basically Harrison Ford. And both players are playing completely different games. If I am the Fugitive, I'm actually trying to play an ascending series of cards in secret so that I can get to the airport to escape. But I'm playing them face down so that you, the marshal, your job is to figure out what are the number of the cards I'm playing, and you're kind of playing almost a game of Go Fish. But you have lots of tools at your disposal to make educated guesses and eliminate possibilities. I've got opportunities as the Fugitive to kind of bluff and make you think, oh well, that has to be a 17. I'm like, nope, it's not. I totally. The last 5 cards, you had no idea where I was, even though you thought you did. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's interesting. My wife Jen and I, we kind of have a hard time with these kinds of games because I tend to read her mind really well and anticipate when she's going to zig or zag. But another nice thing is the game does have a nice handicapping mode, so you can, if one player is more experienced than the other. So it's a brilliant game, and do not be fooled by the prototype you're looking at here. It's gorgeous. It's just absolutely wonderful kind of 50s art to it that's just absolutely awesome. And it's my new number 10 Fugitive. Have either of you played it?
No, I
actually, I have not.
I play Sabotage, but not Fugitive.
Oh, yeah, Sabotage is
I
kind of like
have not.
Fugitive's big brother. It's like,
Yes.
it takes
Yeah.
everything to an 11. You have to try it. It is a blast. It's an awesome couples game. I mean, I can't imagine the only reason you might not like it is because there is
I'm writing it
a
down.
lot of bluffing, a lot of mind games.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it sounds like it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, excellent.
It'd be something that I like. Enjoy as a couple.
Well, you can always
Yeah.
watch. I think Jen thought she had me, and then we revealed all the cards, and she didn't, and that was the end of the video. So that'll be the end of my number 10. And now we will move on to Stella's number 10. Let me go on ahead and click
Dun,
it.
dun, dun.
And here it comes. Is this gonna? Or a second. Hold on a second.
Surprise.
Yes. All right, there we go. Clicking, and it's opening up. And Ella, what is it?
Dun dun dun.
It's
It's
Ella dancing.
Ding, ding.
it's Kapow.
Kapow! That's my video for Kapow.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me about
the
Kapow. I
first
know nothing about this.
edition. This is a 2-player, so the box itself comes with 2 players. Well, you can get another box for 4 players,
Okay.
but anyways, technically it's 2 players. Whereas one person, I really love the theme. One person is the villain and the other one is the superheroes. And we are that's a dice building, so you can see that there's you building dice, you customize the dice. It's a kind of like battle to the death. A lot of engine building. It's a dice rolling where there are a lot of options. It's a quick game. See, that's the options there,
Okay.
and you can roll it and then assign the dice to things to try to build your engine and then KO your opponents. That's basically Kapow.
So does each player have like 20
it
hit
is,
points,
yeah.
and you're trying to wear each other down first, like Magic
Yep.
the Gathering?
Something like that. So I think each one has got so each character has got slightly different health points and
Abilities.
like asymmetric power a little bit, not too much. So that's just like 20 or 25 depending on the character you use. It's really funny as well.
Yeah.
Is that
Is
why
it?
you were asking if I had your copy, Stella?
Yes,
You were asking that the other time. That's why it was for the
When I was writing my list, I was like, "Where's my copy?" Or Ella borrowed it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually in
Today
this
is-
board game. My dreams have come true. I'm one of the superheroes they use my image for.
I know.
I'm like,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. How cool is that?
I only have a number because I'm irradiated, so I'm get in trouble. Oh, am I 547? But yeah, so I have nuclear power for my energy. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you?
Yeah, I know.
I'd like to play as your character, Ella. I can't wait. That's the second edition.
That's
Yes.
Yeah,
That
it's
is awesome. So
it's really good.
this is the gameplay right here, right? You roll dice, and then it's kind of like a dice worker placement game kind of a thing to activate different powers.
Correct.
Cool.
That's basically it. So you can see me like rolling and then assigning it, and it's kind of like bluffing as well. You can talk to your opponents like, "Oh, you looks like maybe I'm going to attack you," but really, you're not attacking. You're building your engine, and then your opponent will think that they're going to attack you. They're going to assign and waste dice for defend. So that would happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you?
Because you do it behind the screen.
I mean, if it's just a race to do 20 points of damage or 15 points or whatever, that's really not that aggressive because that just means, I'm just trying to basically score 15 points, which is to say you losing 15 points. But can I mess with your
That's basically
engine? Can I break stuff? Or is it just a race to do damage?
I think it's mainly a race, and it's also almost like rock, paper, scissors, what action you do this turn, what action they do this turn. There are actions that combo from other, from the opponent's action as well. Let's say your opponent choose this, you get this as well. But there's not really attack that big, except for KOing the opponent. So that's the actual thing. Just you can't really like destroy opponent's engine, which is probably like what I like about it. Because you build your engine, you don't want to get destroyed. You just focus on KOing the opponent, building your engine. Yeah. And maximize your strategy as well. So it's quite strategic as well, whether you want to build the engine first, you want to straight KO opponents, you want a long game if you have really powerful character, or you want a short game if you have a really strong attacking character, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well,
it's really enjoyable.
I love reprogrammable dice. I mean, in like,
Dice
Dice Forge and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I mean, I have to admit, you've got me intrigued. If it's not aggressive, if it's just more, we're just racing to do the right amount of damage, that might be interesting for me in game too. You kind of convinced me. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah. It's like, and the good thing as well.
Comic book.
Yeah, the art is great. And the good thing as well, there are so many actions. Well, at first you might be like, oh my god, there's so many. But that it's kind of like categorized into different sections.
Yeah.
So basically, this part is the engine building, this is the defend, this is the attack. Depending on the dice you have, there's almost always things you can do with your dice.
Cool.
So it's not like you stuck. There's also a thing where you can reroll your dice, for example. So that's to mitigate the dice roll. So it's really, really enjoyable. Nice quick games of Kapow.
All right.
Kapow.
That's an excellent start. And if it doesn't show up on Ella's list at some point, we'll know she's not that happy about her radioactive super run,
Oh no, I'm in trouble.
That's a good point, Widget.
Okay, cool. Well, that's excellent. All right, let me see if I can now pull up Ella's list and click on her number 10. Yep, there we go. And I have no idea what this is going to be. Tap and follow link. Here we go. Boom.
What is that?
Boom. What is that?
Do you know what that is?
I don't know.
I didn't know this either until I spoke to Suze on another top 10, and it's called Spire's End. So this is an adventure game that is just all in a deck of cards. So it's a kind of game, so throughout the years, like in the time that I've been playing, there have been a lot of games that are like point and click adventure games, and this sort of feels like that. So it plays with one player or two players, but I kind of like it more solo, just because I play it at the end of the day when I'm relaxing, because everything that you need to know is in the deck: the rules, how to manage health, how to attack, what the choices that you make. I can't actually say a lot of things about what's happening in the game because there will be a lot of spoilers.
Okay.
So that's me playing on Twitch. So don't look if you don't want any spoilers.
There's a door. It's going to open. It's all spoiled. It's all ruined now. Might as well not even play.
No. I love point and click adventure
basically
time.
The story is there's a mysterious spire that has emerged and everybody in the town has disappeared, and it is your task to find them. So you, of course, like any sane person would do, you enter into the spire alone. No, you have a lot of people helping you out. So you have two adventurers that you handle, and it's sort of like the usual deck crawler, dungeon crawler sort of thing, where you have to manage your health. You roll dice in order to attack, but it's more, I think, it's not just luck based in that sense, because you can choose what kind of attack you will do, because say for example you want to do a strong attack but you have to get higher numbered dice. You can do lower attacks, and then the range will be from 1 to 10, so it's easier to hit and things like that. So it's harder to hit with stronger dice. And the aim is to get to the end of the spire with all your people alive, I guess. Like in any dungeon crawler. And the people, I should, can I say? Anyway, I shouldn't. I should stop.
Oh, you're about to spoil everything?
Yay!
No spoilers! No spoilers! But I'm curious.
Yeah.
Is this a one and done game? Do you play through, you finish the story, you don't feel like going back again, or does it have branching paths, or are you happy to play it again even though you know the story?
I'm happy to play it again just because the combination of people that you can have that you bring in will be different.
Oh, your characters, yeah.
But yes, yeah. But it does have branching stories, but in that sense, yes, it is very limited in terms of you will know what will happen. But I guess just the combination is different. I really don't mind
Okay.
replaying games that I know.
Yeah.
Do you have that experience, or you're like, I know it, I won't play it anymore?
Replaying games, I know. What's that? I never get to. Always got to move on to the next game.
You are
That's
right.
a good
you're
point.
right.
That's a good point. If it's like choose your own adventure book
Yeah.
type of thing, then yeah, you read it again and try to choose a different path. Maybe.
Yeah.
What was it called again? I've never heard of it.
Nice.
Spire's End.
Spire's
so
End.
there,
Fires.
yeah, it was very hard to get. I think they're doing a reprint. So this year, and the art is like I love the ink art. It's really beautiful. So yeah, something that you can play at the end of the day. It's pretty easy because all the rules are in there. You just have to read it. It's like okay, now I know another rule. Now I know another
Right.
rule, and it builds on
yeah.
it, which is pretty gay.
They're on the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get this.
It's like
Yeah.
flux.
Cool.
Yeah, everything is in the cards. Everything is in the cards.
Wow. So, I mean, I assume you've played like Time Stories or other games like this, right?
Yes. This is, I guess, because of the ease,
Yeah.
I like it better. I feel like it's more choose your own adventure because it's literally what do you do, this or this one. And then I also like managing the characters because they feel very different. I am into dungeon crawlers a lot. Like I like Gloomhaven, I like Jaws of a Lion, so I'm really into this type of thing. And so it's if I like that experience. So this is a more simple distilled version
Okay,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's why I like it.
Cool.
You just remind me also a game that I have not included in my top 10 that I should. Never
know,
mind.
That's it. Let's all hang up. We'll meet again next week. Second time, Stella will get it right. Do you need to call an audible? Do you need to make a quick change, or
Nah, it's okay. It's already
we
there.
can do some honorable mentions at the end, I suppose, if you remember.
Yes, I'll
Okay,
do
so that was your number 9.
Mine
Yeah,
will be
I will
Kapow.
Yeah. I am so glad to have you on because 2 for 2. That's 2 games I didn't know anything about. And now I know more about. And so it's great to have you here because the audience knows more about it too. And you folks can go, again, links down in the show notes. You can go watch their videos of these 2 games. I think a lot of the links are going to be to your guys' channel, right? That you've sent?
Probably.
Yes, some.
Sweet.
I don't have a
Some,
lot of
not
videos
all.
of the others.
Okay.
Yes.
There's BGG as well.
Yeah. All right, well, that was a good start. Let's move on to number 9. And my number 9 is
you?
Yokohama
Oh.
Duel.
There's Yokohama Duel.
yes.
Yeah, do you know it?
I know
I
it. I
did
haven't
not-
played it yet. I
haven't
haven't
played it.
I've had
I
it forever.
think-
It's
I haven't even played Yokohama.
well, Yokohama is
What?
excellent, but that is not a 2-player
Yeah.
game.
Yes.
This is an excellent game.
Chef of Shem.
Here's the deal. There's a grid of different locations in Yokohama that represent places where you can gather resources or convert resources into points or complete objectives, all that kind of Euro-y stuff. And it's a worker placement game. At the beginning of the game, you have 4 cards that are your 4 workers. A level 1 card, 2, 3, and 4, which represent you. I'm sending out 1 worker, 2 workers, 3 workers, 4 workers. You send out 4 workers, they're gonna do a bigger, better job wherever you send them to. The interesting thing is you must play them in order. First round, you have to play your 1, then play your 2, then play your 3, then play your 4. And that's where the strategy comes in because, well, I would like to go over and play my 4 right now and get all the tea leaves I need before I head over to the shipping district. But I can't. I got to get this 1 out of the way first. And what am I going to do? Where am I going to send them?
Yes.
It's so cool. It's such a simple idea, but it works so well. I mean, and the whole game is basically just a bunch of different sized cards because, although I know there are some little tokens to keep track of resources and whatnot, there are technologies that you can buy that make you better at different things. Every time you play, you'll see all the technologies, but they will come out in a different order, and that radically changes the feel of the game and, kind of makes you focus on one thing or another. You can upgrade the workers as well if you have money. And, okay, I've got to send out my 2 right now. But I desperately need to send a 3 there. Okay, I'll send my 2, but I'll supplement them with some yen, with some extra money, so that temporarily bumps them up to a 3. But now I don't have the money to do the other thing I wanted to do, to buy the technology I needed to buy. All those kinds of things. It's a super tiny little package with a ton of game in it. And, I mean, it's it's so hard to find a worker placement game that does something really new and different because we've had so many of them over the last decade. And so that's one of the things that really makes Yokohama Duel stand out for me, which is why it's my new number 9 Yokohama Duel.
I love it already. I want it now.
Yeah, it's really good. It does pick up and deliver really well because pick up and deliver is really hard to do without it being boring, and Yokohama does it really well. What's the difference between playing Yokohama, the original one, 2-player, and this one, Duel?
Well, Yokohama is all about, like you said, it's about kind of creating that route. You still send out workers to all the different places in the grid that represents Yokohama, but I put a couple workers here, I put a couple workers there, and then you've built a route that your manager, which is the Meeple that represents you, can kind of travel around to activate things. So it's kind of like you send an advanced team to prepare the path you're going to follow, and then you follow the path. Here, that's completely gone. There's no representation of you. It's just I'm sending out a single worker someplace, and then I'm sending out a double, and then I'm sending out a triple, but I'm going to upgrade them to a 5er, because I need to do a 5 level, and then I'm going to do the level 4, and then I'm going to call them all back. And you can temporarily upgrade the workers. You can also permanently upgrade them as well, so that you make a bigger, stronger workforce. But it's always that challenging puzzle of, I need to do this right now, but I don't need to do a level 1 version of it. So what am I going to do until I get there? And, of course, worker placement. Oh, what if somebody else takes it, and now I can't get there till next round kind of stuff.
Yeah. Can you use a 5 for a 1? Mm-hmm. Like a 5er as a 1? And get only one thing?
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of these things are, hey, go to the, actually, if you look really close, you can see there's like the T. If I go there with a 1, I'm going to get 1 tea leaf. If I go there with a 2, I'm going to get 2. Kind of thing. If I go to the technology area, well, I need to go there with at least a 3er if I want to get level 3 technologies. So yes, I guess you could go there with a 5 and get a level 1 technology, but you'd be wasting that 5.
But why? Yeah.
But that's going to happen sometimes too, because you're desperate to get that perfect thing that's going to fit. It's super sharp, and if people who like Yokohama, it's unlike some of these like little brother, little sister games. This one is its own thing. It's not trying to it's recreating the setting of Yokohama, but it is a very different feeling game.
Right.
Got it. All right, it's on my wish list now.
It should be. It should be on everyone's if you can find it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty tough to get.
I have it. We can play it.
Oh, there you go.
I have the
really?
Japanese version. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, yeah. I cannot recommend it enough. Alrighty. Well, that was my number 9. Let's move on to
9.
Stella's number 9. Number 9.
Whoop, whoop.
Number 9.
What is it?
Is it coming?
We're summoning it.
I'm trying to
It's
click.
coming soon.
Number 9.
Click. There we go. Here we come. Here it comes.
There it is.
And
Woo. We'll see what this is.
It's
there. 1987.
1987.
Channel Tunnel.
I want to play this game so much.
Oh gosh, it's so good. So Ella looks a bit disappointed. You forgot to include this,
no.
Ella?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I forgot. I like it. I did.
So, this is a 2-player sort of duel game. It is like tug of war a little bit. So you're basically trying to build tunnels. So one player starting on the left end and the other one starting on the right end. That's basically a recreation of Britain and France building tunnel back in 1987.
The channel tunnel that connects.
Yes, the channel tunnel. That's
I've ridden
correct.
it many times back when we lived in England.
There. Oh wow, there you go. So I think you'll like it. So speaking about worker placement that we talked before, so it's mainly worker placement, but it's so unique that you start your the round by drawing some discs from the back, and you have to stack the discs of the same color in one stack, and that represents one worker, right? So you will assign it to different workers' placement spots, but if there's how does I say it? So if you got an opponent that has workers there that is shorter stack than you, so you have more discs, you can do it. You can go there and take it. Is that right, Ella? Hang on. That little bit I slightly, So you kind of like, it's very thinky that you have to think which stack you use first of different color so that you can maximize it, so that you can either block the space completely from opponent. If it's a really tall stack of this, then they can't really go there. But if it's a short one, other people can go there, and you get. So I think you get this back, or the opponent get the disc or something like that. Or you get the disc back if opponents go there, I think.
Oh, they kind of bump you out, kind of a thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Disney's a
Like
bit taller, I think.
Peloponnese, you get your things back. Yeah, if they bump you out.
Yeah. And you have to watch out. So and the fact that you have to watch out what your opponents are doing as well on the actual action on the game, because it's a more like seeing what opponents done. You do something that will stop that opponent from getting away with getting points.
Right.
Let's say if somebody trying to score on technology, and the other person might try to score on building the tunnels. So the one that building the tunnels, if the other person has not built a lot of their tunnels, then the opponents will score more.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to watch out for that. It's very tight, and those cards are working at placement space as well. It's been a while since I played it. I think been like it was Essen 2019. I was speaking about Essen. I want to go to Essen again. Anyways,
I know. Remember when we could travel?
What's that? What's travel?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you can at least travel within your own country. So your country is on top of things.
Right.
So
Yeah, but within state, I'm still scared to go within state. If what happened if they suddenly shut down the border and then we stuck
sure.
on another state? And can't go home.
And you have to pay for the hotel on your from your own pocket, which is expensive.
Quarantine. 14 days quarantine. Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck with other people for 14 days.
Yeah, that's actually true. So yeah, that's Channel Tunnel is a really tight 2-player game. It has really clever the worker placement mechanic, very unique. So I haven't played Yokohama Duel, but I think if you like Yokohama Duel, you might like this one. Ella likes this one as well.
This publisher does a lot of those small box games that pack a lot
Like
into
tiny
it. They
epic.
do, They do like San Francisco. They had a game called San Francisco.
Yes.
That
I play
was a
with
great
you,
game
San Francisco.
also.
Is that that's not 2 players. though.
1907.
That's not true. I would have
was
put
in
it
San
in.
Francisco.
Yeah.
It's like their whole thing.
Creating
Pick a date, and here's an entire game about whatever this historic thing is in a very, very tiny package.
Yes. And there's some endgame objective cards that you can take as well.
Yes.
And it's not take that, but really tight 2-player games.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yep.
Did I cover it okay, Ella? Did I miss anything else? Good
No,
about that?
no. I checked everything. Everything was checked.
Okay. Yep. So you did get
It's
to
good.
Get Ella.
because you two have played it together, right?
I'm sorry.
Ella.
No, we haven't.
Oh.
We haven't. Did we play this? I might have forgotten because I was looking through my Instagram. I said I haven't played this game, and then I look, I have because we played so many games. I've actually forgotten if I played some games at conventions.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I played San Francisco with you, but not this one with you, I
Yes.
think. This was with
Yeah,
Terra.
yeah.
It was so tight. Terra. So good.
Cool. All right. Well, that is your number 9. And like I said,
My
this is
number
one
9.
I've wanted to play for a long time. In part because I've been through the Channel Tunnel so many times. And I remember I played the San Francisco one, and it was a very good game, too. A lot of game in a little box.
Yes.
So it's an excellent choice. Someday I'll come and visit and
This
play
is
it.
the same designers as Red Cathedral.
As which one?
The Kapow.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Red Cathedral is one of the best games of last year.
So
you have to
that's
try this.
really
Yeah,
insane.
it
No
is.
choice.
sold.
Wow.
Sold.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Good choice. And now I'm
Ella's
even
number
more
9.
excited because I'm over the moon with
Yay.
Red Cathedral, definitely. Cool.
There you go.
All right. And by the way, it is interesting that Stella, amongst other things, does a series called Stella's Short and Sweet. And your videos are very short, so we're talking longer than your videos. While you were talking, I was trying to get them to play at normal speed because I always watch everything at double speed.
Yes.
So your videos were just ending before you were finished talking. So I think I've got you back down to
That's
playing
true.
at normal speed now for the future short
Yeah.
and sweets. All righty. Excellent number 9.
Okay.
I am very excited about that one.
Thank
But
you.
now we'll move on to Ella's number
Thank you.
9, which, if I tick over here, there we go. Here it comes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Patchwork.
Patchwork Duel. Is it Duel?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a hard time with this because I had a choice between this or Fields of Arle. And I was thinking if I wanted to play like a 2-player solo game, I wouldn't choose Fields of Arle. I'd choose Feast for Odin just because I like it better. So that's why Patchwork came in. That's a long story about why I chose Patchwork. But I do also have fond memories of Patchwork because my husband is a chess player, and most of the games that he'd like to play are very abstract ones. He likes those kinds of games, so he loves this and beats me all the time.
Really?
Because he's very yeah. But also he has a lot of AP. He thinks a lot, and whereas I'm like I've forgotten what my turn is now because
whatever. Yeah,
that's where because he's a chess player. He's like he thinks about his actions before he does it. Anyway, I love Patchwork. One, because of the theme. It's just lovely. You know, you're trying to piece together a lovely quilt, trying to make sure you have no holes because you don't want a quilt with holes in it, so that you become the button master. So it's very cute. Reminds me of Calico. So and then mechanically, what you're presented is with different shaped tiles that come in a spiral.
Yes.
So you take a piece by playing with buttons. I'm sure you all know this, but I'm explaining to people who don't. So you might want to get like a really juicy piece, but then time moves quicker because you're jumping faster. So that might not be good because you don't also want time to be fast because you want it to be slow as possible so that you fill in all your pieces, put it in the right space at the right time, things like that, and also always have the right buttons. So this is, and he has done a lot of tile games after this, like Patchwork, and he has this in Feast for Odin. He has that little tile game in Feast for Odin, and then he had a whole series about it, but this is my favorite just because I don't know, I like the theme better, like sewing a quilt. And it was one of the first actually Uwe games that I played. So it has like I don't know, I just love it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So you're right. He's done a whole series of these polyomino games. This is where he started. Then he did Feast for Odin, but then he's done Cottage Garden and Indian Summer.
Summer.
Yeah. But of all of the ones he's done in this zone, Patchwork, his first one, is still your favorite, or did Patchwork make it because it's a 2-player only game and you were trying to identify the 2-player only?
Yes, that's it. No, I still like this better.
Wow.
But it's just like preference. Yeah. The others are more. They're better games, but games are like this just has a place in my heart because of it. Like it's one of the first few games I played that introduced me to that aspect of like, oh, I want that tile, but that means I'm going fast, and therefore that's bad for me because I don't want to race to the end. Yes, I haven't played Nova Luna actually, so right. That's why. So, but yeah,
Nova Luna does the same idea of how you grab the tiles, but you do a completely different thing with the tiles. You're not trying to fill in all the holes. But yeah, it is a brilliant game and incredibly popular, and just continues to sell like hotcakes all these years later. Every
There's
time
a Christmas
he does
one. Yeah.
Every time he does another polyomino game, people say, "Well, yeah, but how does it compare to Patchwork?" I'm sure he's kind of sick and tired of hearing about Patchwork, Uwe Rosenberg. Like, I've done other games besides Patchwork.
What's your favorite?
I think of all the ones he's done, my favorite is probably Spring Meadow. I like that one the most.
I haven't tried
It's a more recent one. It's interesting because he introduces kind of a Tetris thing that the pieces come in at one side and they have to slide down, and so that really restricts you. You're still trying to fill holes. You're still trying to grab the right tiles, but it's a little bit more Tetris-y, whereas this is, you just kind of grow organically from wherever you want. So you have a lot more freedom in this game. But it is, it's obviously so well loved. And also he's done the Patchwork Roll and Write. Have you done that one?
No, I have not.
No, I haven't.
Be good.
No.
I love Roll and Write. So.
Oh, yeah. You have to. I mean, I've seen what people end up doing is you could just say, oh, I'm going to write in this thing and I'll just put in some plaid or whatnot. But people end up like doing all kinds of their own personal doodles to make like customized pieces as they go. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think I haven't played a lot of Patchworks myself. I know that I have slightly bad, it's a little bit bad at spatial rotation. So I need to grab it and put it in my board. So that's like sometimes there are times I struggle, although I still enjoy games like this. I just know that I'm going to be left behind with score, or I'll probably be the most AP.
Or you'll drive everybody. You'll either drive everybody nuts by having to try every single piece everywhere, or you'll come in last place. One or the other. You have to make that choice.
Yes. I usually come last place.
My wife chooses the former because, she does the same thing where, she really can't visualize how they're going to fit until she tries them in. It's like interesting. His most recent version of this kind of game, New York Zoo, I believe it actually comes with a piece that says, hey, when you're going to pick up a piece to try things around, put this piece in its place so you don't forget where the piece goes when you put it back. Because so many people are like you, Stella, that just have to try and see how it fits in every single way. So don't feel bad. You're not alone.
Yep. Thank you. It's my weakness.
Yep. Yeah, but this is this is such a huge. This is an evergreen game. People are going to be playing this game 20 years from now, and it's going to be just as popular because it's so good. And it's an excellent choice. That was your number 9, Patchwork. Okay, now we are moving on to my number 8, which is, again, all of mine are fairly new. You guys are definitely hidden. This one is such a classic. But my number 8 is Foothills, which I don't know if you know. It's
I haven't played it.
You have or haven't?
I have not.
Well, this is basically kind of like Snowdonia, the card game. What we're trying to do is work on several different tracks. First of all, we're clearing out rubble and then laying track and then building stations along 5 different lines to score lots of points. And the tricky thing about the original Snowdonia and Foothills is that, hey, you know what? If I clear out all this rubble, and my turn is over, and now it's your turn, and you get to lay track. And so much of what you're doing is trying to anticipate what is my opponent going to do so that when my turn comes around, I'm in the perfect position to capitalize on what they did. And meanwhile, I'm trying to make moves that won't open up and give you exactly what you want. So there's this really interesting tension. But what's really interesting about this game is you have 5 cards by default, and the 5 cards are in front of you. They indicate the different actions you can do. I can clear rubble, I can build a station, I can gather the resources I need to lay track or whatever. On your turn, you pick one of those cards, you do what it says, and then you flip the card over. And suddenly, you have completely different actions available to you. On the other side of the card is a weak version of a different card. So, like, if I flip over my clear rubble, and then now I've got a second instance of build stations. I've got my normal one, and I've got this really lousy one. I don't want to use, if I'm going to build a station, I want to use the really good one. But if I don't use the lousy action, I'll never get my good clear rubble action back. Because I've got to do the bad thing to get back to the good action. And so the game is, again, it's all about the timing of knowing when to make a move based on what your opponent's doing, but also how to make moves that will get you your better move, your original better moves back. Plus, another thing you can do is those cards you have right from the get-go, they can be upgraded. They can basically be retired, and new, better action cards can come in. So it's got a lot of really clever stuff. It's really satisfying. It is a duel of sorts because you are spending so much time, like I said, focusing like a laser. Okay, if I clear this rubble now, you only have your lousy lay track action. Your good lay track action is out. If you don't want to use your lousy one, then I could follow up with another lay track, unless you use your lousy one anyway, because for you, it's more important to get your good station building action back. And so that's a big, big part of the game. And it also has a really nice table presence, too. You put all these cards next to each other. It's just a fun little game. My wife and I enjoy it quite a bit. We are big fans of Snowdonia. And again, this is its own game, but it does kind of capture the feel of Snowdonia in a tight little package. I love it a lot.
I love that. I love Snowdonia with all the 13 or 17 different game modes.
Yeah.
The new one in this giant box. But yeah, well, we love that. Like, we'll also play it at any time. But then, if there's this one, it'll be easy and quick for 2 players.
Exactly.
That was Foothill, was it?
Foothills.
Right, no,
Stella is making notes.
Thank you. Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank
if you are a Snowdonia fan, you owe yourself to try it. It is excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Awesome. All right. And so that was my number 8. So we are now moving on to Stella's number 8. Right, here we go. I found I have to hold Shift and click, otherwise it won't open. There we go.
All right,
I
yes.
don't know why, but
true.
hopefully that will work. And here we go. What do we got?
Dun, dun, dun. So this is our live playthrough on the Dice Tower of a game called Widget Rich.
Widget?
So,
I know this.
I think it is slightly underrated. This is steampunk theme, which I really love.
Oh, okay.
It essentially is a deck building where you're trying to get to certain points. So those cards that you can see are available to be bought. Like each turn you play your cards, you buy a card. But the interesting thing is that there are 3 different ways of using the cards or activating the cards effect when you play it. The first one is when you play, you're connecting the stuff, so you can leave the cards out to build your engine. So there's like you're building invention basically. So you're building invention, the middle part, the front part, the back part. So once it's complete, you can leave it there, and then it will generate new engine.
Okay.
But other people might be able to, remove the cards. So I don't know if you like that sort of thing. I still think it is a really good game. So you can see there in the screen. So that's connected. You can see there's a connection there. That means you can play those cards next to each other, and has to be a certain type of card. So there's like the front of the engine, middle of the engine, the last of the engine. So you can, there's different ways to connect the cards as well. So that's what you're aiming. You're basically aiming to get the right cards, put in discard pile, and later on when you draw it as an engine, as a deck building, then you can, play it as wanting to connect, and then use its effect from then on every round.
Oh, wait.
And then...
So I'm sorry, you said it was a deck builder, right?
It's a deck builder, but you also play the cards and leave it an engine build.
Okay.
As well at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you take the cards, you put them in your deck. Eventually, when you get to play them, okay, I built half of my machine now, but I've still got to build the other parts.
Yes.
And
yes.
Right.
okay. And I assume there's other stuff.
It's really interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it on Kickstarter?
It was originally on Kickstarter. They have expansion, I think. It is. I think it's a bit underrated because I never heard of it.
I have never heard of it
I've
at
got,
all.
Yeah. It comes in a small box, widget rich, and it's 2 players. And technically, I think you can play with more, but I think 2 players is the best. Technically, you can play with more with the second box. It's like Kapow.
Oh, okay. So you have to buy a second
right.
copy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It
it's
is
2
still-
player, but you can play 4. Got it.
Yes. So you can see that's the track of your victory point. This is like a multi-use of cards as well.
Love it.
You say full construct means that the effect is when you fully construct that as an invention. So there's different connection as well. There's the top one, bottom one, like the big. It's the artwork is great. It is steampunk. I have something with the steampunk theme. It's very, very unique. I just love steampunk theme game, like Steampunk Rally and this one.
What are we trying
But
to do
I think-
in this game? Are we just trying to get a certain number of points? Are we trying to build a certain number of machines?
Yes, points. So that's on the right hand side, the one that I keep moving. The two
Oh, I
cards
see.
on
Okay.
top of each
Yeah.
other. That's how you track your points. There's a bit of a tech there,
Yes, you said.
and there's different effectors. Effect that will trash your cards, your starting cards. You want to obviously good engine building. You want to trash those. It's really good. It's really unique when we play it. Like, oh, that's amazing.
What's the name again? Sorry.
Widget Rich?
Widget
Widget
Ridge.
Ridge.
Yeah, it's right up there.
Widget Rich.
I'm shocked. I've never heard of this. Now I'm curious.
Me too.
Ella said at one point, no. When
where is
Stella
that?
was saying you can attack. Have we revealed who the Care Bear is? And
I don't
who the,
like when.
the wolf in sheep's clothing.
No,
is?
I cannot. Yeah, I don't like a lot of take that. Like even with the people I play with, like so for example, we play Kalos, we never move that thing. Like we're like, that's yeah, we're too nice. That's why like Architects of the West Kingdom is not something that we go to. Also,
sure.
we're not mean. We're like you. That's why I watch your channel. You don't like mean games. I don't like mean games. No.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's what I mentioned as well a little bit. There's like way to remove your opponent's invention. That's
how big a
one
part
thing.
of the
I don't know
game
if you
is
can
that?
remove.
I mean, do you think? I mean, if the game comes with like 80 cards, are there only 5 of them that do that? And you could just, hey, you know what? Let's just make sure all those cards are at the bottom of the deck and no one sees them. Or what do you think?
I think that is possible because there's only certain cards that remove opponent's invention. You can just remove them if you don't want to use them, or make a house rules.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like just that part, I mean, I can see that this is still going. It's just that means that other people can get away with the engine.
Yeah.
But then it's good too. I mean, you can make your engine then as long as you draw the right card in your deck build and then draw the right card. I can see that happens too. You just remove those cards.
Yeah.
I should have probably have the game. The game is right there, so I probably can't really show it. I'm curious now.
Because I guess with engine building, it's because like your success is dependent on how well you build your engine, and if somebody destroys it, it's devastating compared to other kind of games where you're like, I can just bounce back from something. But something
you can only build one engine. You can only build one engine.
Oh, you
but
only
it's
have
not
one engine
that
that's
awfully
built.
hard. Yeah.
And I assume the assumption is, I got it working. It's probably going to work for maybe 2 or 3 rounds, and then sooner or later it's going to get destroyed. Is that kind of
yes? And then you can. Well, the opponent can only remove one of the cards, so then you can later on you can play a different card that connects with different actions. So it's not always too bad. So you have a different engine going.
Right, because different pieces. It's not like only these
different
3 pieces can go together. It's you're making all kinds of wacky contraption machines of mixing and matching
Okay.
stuff.
Not too bad then.
Okay. Yeah, I have to admit, I was thinking more, it took me forever to get these 3 pieces together, and then you destroy it. But no, you're constantly building stuff
not like
in
that.
this game.
Yes,
Right,
you're constantly
okay.
building stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
Well, it looks pretty cool. And I can't believe, how
we
are
should
you coming up with all these things? I do not know. I thought I played it all, but apparently not down under.
There's so many games.
Yes. Well, this is a good thing. This is like my opportunity to write down stuff as well.
Definitely.
Like I thought I knew as well. And like, what's Foothills? I'm just writing it down. This is something what I would like. What's Yokohama Duel? Okay, I'll like that game as well. So that's good.
Alrighty. Well then, let's see. Let us move on to Ella's number 8. Let's see. Click on this. Open that. And here it comes. I'm getting better at this. Oh, wow.
Twilight struggle.
Remember when I said I don't like attacking?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. I'm having some kind of disconnect here.
What's with that?
What is going on?
I know. So for people, Twilight Struggle is a 2-player game, one of the best ones. So it's a board game that relives the Cold War. So it's actually you attacking another person. So it's you play as USA or USSR.
Yeah.
Then this is I don't mind sort of that attacking thing if it's an area control game, because you kind of this disappears, I can just build up anywhere here. It's not devastating if you're if you have your hand in a lot of pies. So whereas if something is just, I take everything and then that's the end of the game and I just sit here and then wait for my demise, that I don't like. So anyway, so in this here, so basically it's a card-driven game. Yeah. So you have you use cards and you have to play them at the right time in order to control certain areas. So there are 6 geopolitical regions in the map: Europe, Asia, I should have this right, Middle East, Africa, Central America, and South America. So I won't go through all the rules, but what the best part about this game is how intelligent the card system is. Also, one of the first ones that I played, because my friends are heavy gamers, the ones that introduced me to board gaming were all heavy gamers, so most of my games were heavy, like through the ages, and this one.
Oh, wow. So you just got thrown into the deep end of the pool right off the bat.
I know,
and you're like, please, more Patchwork. I like that. Why do you keep making
Remember Kingdomino? So it's very fun because a card has an event on it, and then a number.
Right.
So it represents your ops value. So ops value is all the things that you can do in the game. Either put cubes in so that you control an area, do realignment so the influence is different, like USA has more influence in certain areas, so there are a lot of things. But also the ops values, so that event will have different colors. Like if it's red, then one player has an advantage, but if it's half, another player also has an advantage. So you have to think about, okay, I'm going to play this card, it's going to give me this, but then the other player is going to get that.
Right.
And do I want that?
Right.
Do I want to do that right now? So it's about so it's also not, you shouldn't go through your cards really fast, because you burn through them if you play it as an event. So because that is a big mistake that I made at the start, but then you end up with I can't play any cards anymore. It's also the scoring is very different because you know it's coming, but you don't know when, and it'll show up, and you don't know which region is going to. Well, you kind of know what region is going to score, so you have to have that in your mind too. That okay, I want to do this, but also that scoring card is going to come up, so I better plan for it. So that's it. So it's just very interesting, hard, strategic decisions that I really like. Yeah. That's
I'm never going to play this game. Actually, I did one time. We had a copy of it. I sat down. I explained it. I got about a half an hour into teaching my wife the rules, and she said, "You know what? I'm going to stop you right there. We are not playing this game." And
no, you wouldn't like it.
But I love.
Fair enough.
The thing you were describing is by far the coolest thing about this game is, there's just like one deck of cards, right? And a bunch of those cards are good for me. A bunch of those cards are good for you. We get our hand of cards, and it's like, oh. Yeah, that card is perfect for you. I cannot play this, but I need to play. Now, can't you just like get rid of cards to get some action points or something like that and not play them for their main function? I think.
Yeah. Oh, the big deterrent also is like it plays for hours.
Yeah.
Like a game will be 3 hours, so you can't get it played a lot, which is why it's like a little bit below on my list. Just tune in for my other games later. Because that card system appears in a lot of games now, like which is what board gaming is anyway, board game design. Like you get like the best parts about board games, and then it appears in other games that might be shorter. So tune in.
Oh, really? Oh, so we haven't seen the last of your dark side.
No, this kind of
list.
No.
Yeah.
I don't usually play a lot of war games. Sorry. But the mechanic that you explained is interesting.
I know. I want those mechanics in a nice Care Bear friendly game, where it's just we're just all peaceful farmers, and we have these things where I can't play this game because it'll give you extra cows, but I really need to be able to sow my fields right now, kind of a thing. I mean, as opposed to I need to grab back control of Asia and maybe bring around World War III, which is what you're thinking about in this game, unfortunately.
I can recommend something for you,
What's that?
Richard, for if you like that sort
of
thing. Well, coming up in my list.
Oh, okay. I'm very excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another sneak peek.
Yeah. And I gotta say, to go from Patchwork to Twilight Struggle, that is fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I'm very much like Stella. Stella's an omni gamer. Like you'll be surprised the breadth and depth of games that she likes. She's even better than me when it comes to that. Like you'd be surprised.
That's not true.
You like whatever. You like
we both similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'll play anything.
For the longest time, this was the #1 game on Board Game Geek for a long time.
It was. That's how I bought my games.
Yeah.
Like I'll go through BGG Top 10. I'll buy all those games. And that one I didn't like. And BGG skews very heavy.
Yes.
So a lot of the games that I bought were very heavy at the start. So, but now I'm more like midweight. Because I have a lot of friends who play war games, sort of this, like we play Root, Oath, so a lot of coin games, Pax Pamir. So I like those experiences because it'll be like a weekend away playing certain things, and you'll have discussions about it, like, I would have played this card, and why did you do that? So it's more that it's like a pocket of experience with your friends, like away on a weekend, rather than I play this every day. So
you said your husband will play Patchwork with you. Because he's a big chess fan. So I get the impression this would not be for him.
No,
because he wants simple and elegant kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And this is not that.
Yeah. And not that. And somebody taught me these rules, because if I read those rules, which is like a war game where it's just a wall of text, I wouldn't have gotten through it when I was starting. Wow. Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. I just love again.
You seem shocked.
Breadth, to go from Patchwork to Twilight. I mean, that is. I've got whiplash, but in a good way. That is awesome. Well, cool. Alrighty. We are really going deep on stuff. Okay, well, let me go on to those are our 8s, right? So I'm going to go on to my number 7, which this is another newer one, like all mine, and you might know this one from I think it's Renegade Games, Stellar. Have you played this one?
Stellar.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Not yet.
I haven't played it yet. This is
surprisingly, we played a lot of games, but not the games you have on your list. It's amazing.
I believe you. You are playing games out there, definitely. Well, okay, so this is, again, a 2-player only game, and it's about players trying to map out the nighttime sky with their telescope. We're kind of like amateur astronomers in our backyard kind of thing. And there's a big tableau of cards. I have to play a bunch of cards that represent all the nebulas and the planets that I spot through my telescope. But what happens is every round there are a set of cards that are on display, and they're numbered 1 through 5. And then I've got cards in my hand. And what's going to happen is I am going to play a card either to my telescope, which means it's something I've seen, or I will play it to my notebook, which is kind of like a set collection thing that's going on the side. And also, my points are, hey, how many of these things did I actually see, did I put on my telescope, versus how many did I put in my notepad, because you multiply. If I made lots of notes about nebulas and then I saw 3 nebulas, it's the number of notes times the number of nebulas. So you have a vested interest in trying to get these into both places. But the tricky thing is, if I have Jupiter and I play it to my telescope, and there's all the cards have the number 1 through 5 on it. If I play Jupiter to my telescope and it's a number 3, that means afterwards I have to take card number 3 from the table and I must play it to my notepad. I don't get a choice. And on the flip side, if I play Jupiter to my notepad, because I'm trying to make notes about planets, then I must take whatever is in card number 3 slot and play it to my telescope. And that is what makes the game tough, because I really want to get this in my notepad. I do not want the card that's in card number 3 to go on my telescope. I have no use for that whatsoever. In fact, I'll even have to throw it away. But I've got to get this card played. And it's the fact that every time you play a card, it has the immediate benefit, but it forces you to make this additional choice that really creates a lot of interesting, nice, puzzly satisfaction, because when you're putting the cards to the telescope, you have to put similar cards together, and so you might get yourself in a spot where, I can't expand this anymore because I've cut it off, because now is the perfect time to put this nebula over here, and if I put that nebula, it's number 4, that means I'll get the number 4 card and put it in my notepad, but the only problem is the only place I can put it is the place that's going to cut off my planets, and then I can't get any more planets. That kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So
interesting decision.
It's really
very interesting.
It's super simple. I mean, play a card, and then whatever the number on the card is, you must play the card that matches that number. But it never works. It's always I can never make the perfect match, and so you're constantly having to figure out how to resolve that. And it's beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's got just absolutely gorgeous stuff. And there's interesting. Trivia and knowledge about all the things you're playing. So, I mean, I can imagine. I mean, this is the kind of game that I would expect for sale in a natural history museum. After you just and this game should be sold there because it's a very simple, easy to teach game, but really very satisfying to play. Stellar.
Yeah, sold. I like anything sci-fi.
Just wrote it on the note. Yeah.
Just wrote it. You have 10 games from Rahdo.
I know. After this, I've got 20 games maybe that I have to write down and find out. Because we do play a lot of 2 players, so this is natural for me to find out more. And then I'm just going to get it next time.
It is excellent. I don't think you'd be disappointed. But, okay, we are now going to move on to Stella's number 7, which means I got to hold shift, I got to tap, and then you should say, here it comes. Oh, I've got it.
Hard work. Dun, dun, dun.
Look at this.
As long as my internet.
You got it.
What is?
You got it. You got it.
It's coming. There we go. All right.
It's coming.
There. It is loading.
Yeah, there was Dancing Stella again. And we have another short.
Imhotep Duel.
Imhotep Duel. The Duel. Yes. This is the designer, one of my favorite designers, Phil Walker, I think, just in Sydney in Australia.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Phil Walker Harding, is he Australian?
Is in Sydney. Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Really.
Wow.
It's so nice.
Idea. Okay.
We've seen him at the Australian convention before, and just so lovely and down to earth, and just very friendly. Anyways, so this is not special rotation. So because I know that his other games, Baron Park, is quite like special rotation as well. Polyomino. Yes. Thank you. So you're probably familiar with Imhotep or Imhotep?
Yes, I have regrets. I have the full game because it's like this is Duel.
Yeah.
So
yes. So it is like that, but it's very tight where everyone. So you get to choose the tile. It's more like it's a draft, but it's also almost like a hate draft. You have to watch and don't get your opponents to get away with the tiles that they really need to hit that last pyramid that's cost them a lot of points. So that's where you place your meeple, you get the tiles on the board and put it on your set collection area, like in Imhotep, and you just basically score points. So that basically the drafting part, it's really simple. I think all of Phil Walker Harding's games are simple, but it has deeper strategy like this one as well. There's also bonus tiles that you want to get that doesn't really contribute anything to your set collection points, but it helps you with, helping you break the rules and help you with the game. It's a very simple game, very quick.
I'm trying to remember. We did play it once. It's the notion that I put one of my meeples on the little grid, and that means my meeple could reach either the ship to the east or the ship south, and because the meeple's by himself, I can take one tile. But then if I put a second thing in that same row or column, then I could take two things from the tile. And you can see that, which is why, I better cut that space off so that you can't keep taking a lot of tiles from that boat, kind of a thing.
Very tight.
Yeah, super tight. Yeah, definitely.
That was super tight. We will play in the Imhotep first, and then we played 2 players. It was okay for 2 players. It was at CamCon, which is an Australian convention. It was late at night, and me and Taryn was like, okay, let's learn this and play this. And then we found out the
Concentrate!
Duel, the Duel. Yes, it's so tight. It's obviously it's a better version for 2 players because it's 2 players. So
I wouldn't think
Ella,
regular. I've never played Imhotep, but I would think it's not particularly good as a 2-player game.
Yeah, it needs more competition on the board as well to make it tight.
Exactly. Yeah,
Whereas
that's what this is.
One.
So this makes it tighter.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Ella, you have to play this.
I know, I will. And another fun fact, his brother publishes games through Grail Games. You might have played it, like Boomerang and
David Harding.
So they're board gaming family. His publisher and designer, Phil Walker Harding, and his brother.
Oh, you say, wow.
David Harding.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Grail Games. Yeah.
Wow, all in the family.
It's not Holy Grail Games, it's Grail Games.
Grail Games,
They have a Kickstarter at the moment, I think, for Zord, the Bad Sobel one. Zord. Oh my god, I can't say.
Fjord.
Fjord.
Fjord, that's it.
Yeah. For Fjord.
Fjord, by the way.
Fjord, oh my gosh.
Fjord was on my original list from 5 years ago as one of the best 2-player only games ever. It couldn't make the list now because the reprint they're doing lets it go up to 4 players. So it is no longer just a 2-player game. But Fjords is amazing. You're right. And it's on Kickstarter right now. Excellent game. Yep. And Imhotep Duel, we did play it. It was very good, but it was just too cutthroat for us. I mean, I especially liked all the tiles you're collecting. They have very different ways to score. And there's 2 different ways. Each type of tile you can score. So every time you set up, you say, this time the pyramids score this way or that way. So there's a lot of variety there, too. Yeah.
Yes, the board, there's a more simple board and then more complex board, yes. You remind me of that now, yeah. That is, really tight. There you go, Imhotep Duel, that is mine, number 7.
So you have to get Ella to come over, but you have to bring her over in Twilight struggle mode, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Not Patchwork Ella, but Twilight struggle Ella. All right.
Turn the dial on my back,
Alrighty, okay. Number 7 for Ella. Let's see here. Here it comes. All right.
Yeah, you have whiplash.
All right. Oh, hey, and by the way, folks, Ella loves board game. You can follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, Ella's got really good Instagram and good followers. Targi!
Yeah, so Whiplash. One of my favorite worker placement games. I will play this over and over again. I will never say no if you ask me to play Targi. So, that's my Instagram. That's what, this is basically where I post all my things. This was the first place where I shared my love for board games. So... so this is also one of the first worker placement games I ever played. I think this was it in Stone Age because I was like, if you like this, you will like worker placement. So in Targi, you're using a worker. You have 3 in total, and you're placing them on different cards that are borders, which are set out in a grid. But the cool thing about it is that if you place your workers, you draw an imaginary line through them, and where they intersect is what you activate. So it could be getting resources, getting those tribe cards, which is how you score at the end of the game, because you're making a 4x3, 3x4 tableau of cards, tribe cards, that either have to be the same symbol or they have to be different symbols altogether. So you either get 4 points or 2 points. Yeah, this is a bit of that also, like Kate placement because you're like blocking somebody. You know that they want that tribe card, so you're like, I'm gonna place this here so that you can't. And it's very fun. There's a lot of laughs with this one because I'm always like, oh, I did not place my thing on the wrong place. I only activated this two things. So, and then also the expansion brings a lot into the game. So if you played a lot of Targi, the expansion is pretty good. But yeah, so it's such a neat little that mechanic. Have I seen that in other games? No, I think
it's hard to imagine that there aren't other games that have done it because it's such. I mean, that triangulation thing.
Yeah,
you know, I'm here on the north row. I'm here on the west row. That means this is what I'm doing here in the center. And it's here's my only question for you: why is this only your number 7?
Oh no! Well, you have to see
I can't even imagine because this was on my list 5 years ago.
I know.
It's one of the best games ever.
Sounds like the others might have Targi on their list as well. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
So Stella, you played Targi.
Is it
right?
number 7?
Okay.
Yeah. I played this.
So, folks, spoiler alert: Targi's coming later on Stella's list. There's no way it's not because Targi is.
Did you pick?
No,
Richard?
I did not.
Pick my list?
Stella got hers to me like almost a week ago. Ella's got hers to me like 3 hours ago.
Yesterday.
I don't know if that reflects something about the two of them. But yes, I had it for a whole week sitting there in my inbox. I did not look. But, I mean, if anybody who's played Targi, I mean, there's no way you can't put it on every list that it fits because it's so amazing.
No.
And you're right, Ella, too. The expansion is excellent. It took years for it to come out in English because it was only German forever. But, oh man, it's a must-have expansion, too.
You couldn't even get this in Australia. My original one is paste stops. I had to buy from Germany, do the paste stops, and then I'm like full on. I want this game, so so I do paste stops.
If ever there's a game that was worth it,
it's very hard. Yeah, very hard to get games into Australia. Very expensive also.
Sometimes
people are shocked by how expensive
I
it
know.
is.
I'm sure you guys get a laugh every time you see anybody on Twitter or Board Game Geek saying, "Oh my gosh, I have to pay $15 shipping to get this to me," and you're like, "Welcome." Yeah, I mean, sit down, get comfortable. We've got some super stuff for you. I kind of know the same. We had kind of the same thing when I lived in Malta, but even still, I've heard nothing but horror stories about Australia. But there's good things too. I'm sure that you guys liked it.
Yeah.
We have the spider. You been the spider?
We have
the horror stories.
Yes. Yeah. Can't beat that.
Go well.
All right. Well, that is an excellent one. I don't remember this. I know this must have rated high on my list and it's just amazing. So I'm expecting. I can't even imagine what's coming after this, but I'm very excited to see. Oh man, everybody must play Targi. The only reason not to play Targi is if you will not play a 2-player game. Period. That's
Yes.
Cool. Good call. And now we're kind of getting into comfortable territory. None of these little things no one's ever heard of before with widgets and stuff like that. Good old solid Targi.
And ridges, Again, top 10, you can, these are all the same to me, really. They're not in rank.
It's true.
I can't rank these games. How?
Well, we will see how well you did. If I'm excited. Okay, but we're going to move on to my number 6 now, which is another Duel. I'm surprised how many of these games just have the word Duel in the title. Mine is Kingdomino Duel.
Oh, I haven't played Duel of this. Hey, it's Paul.
I played it. It's the roll and ride.
You can't quite see because he's covered up by me, but Paul and I actually played
But
this.
I know by the hair.
It's basically very Kingdomino-esque, but it is a dice drafting roll and write. And you can see, I was actually playing and filming myself, and Paul was playing in England, and the two of us, we actually, I won't spoil who won. It's a great little game. It has the same basic idea of using dominoes to kind of expand your kingdom. The dice every round you roll them. Let's see. I think we're fine. Every round you roll 4 dice, and the first player takes 1 die. Then the second player gets 2 dice of their choice, which means the first player is stuck with the last die, whether they like it or not. Once you have 2 dice, you can put them together however you want to be a domino. And then you use that domino to spread out your dominion on the board. And just to keep it simple, because it's a roll and write, the different environments are, do you have the checkerboard stripe or the or the double stripe or whatever. And as you can see on Paul's, like on his west, he's getting a nice little double stripe area going over there, and he's got a really nice single stripe area on the east that's really spreading, and he's doing very well. But the interesting thing is, so the dice, you put them together to make your domino, but some of the dice faces have X's on them, and those represent people moving into the areas you're building, and that's how you score points, because ultimately the number of points is how big is the area times the number of people that moved in. And so getting those X's, even if it puts it a face that you don't necessarily want, is very, very important to chase after. But the interesting thing is, every time you take a die that doesn't have the little X's, so therefore you're not getting people to move in and you're not scoring points, you instead get to mark progress on a spell sheet that's there in the middle of the screen. Merlin will cast spells that let you do things like re-roll or take extra actions and stuff like that. And that's where the duel really is, because each player is pretty much just doing their own thing. But if I get all 4 check boxes of like the third spell, and I get that fourth one, and you, Ella, you had 3 to go, you only had 1 more to go. When I get that fourth one, I'm sorry, all that work you put into getting yours, you won't get it now. It's gone, because each of those spells will only be cast once. So while you're trying to make the perfect kingdom and score a lot of points, you're also racing like crazy to be the first to get those spells cast, because if you really committed to it and you don't get it, that was a lot of wasted time that you could have been getting more settlers in instead. And it works really great. Honestly, Paul and I agreed after we played this online together, we both like it better than the original Kingdomino.
What? I love Kingdomino.
Yeah,
wow, okay. That's like
I
a big endorsement of that.
I went there, and I stand by that.
You're in trouble now.
Of course, Kingdomino you can play with more than 2 players, and this is
with more
only
players,
for 2 players.
yeah.
But I mean, and this is a much better, a much more engaging 2-player experience. It's because of that extra twist with those spells that you're chasing after while you're also trying to make the perfect landscape.
Racing.
And you're making your own little custom dominoes. It's just excellent. 7 Ways to Sunday, and I love it.
It has the feel of Kingdomino as well. I played it once.
Oh, okay.
Before. It has that feel, but different.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Cool.
It is one good one.
Awesome. Well, all right then. I agree. Let's see. That was my number 6, and
I just have to play it again.
Right, so yeah, I mean, you won't regret it. It is just a good time. My number 6 was Kingdomino Duel. Your number 6, Stella, is, let's see here. Come on, boom, there we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we have...
It is another 2-player
Skulk.
Have you played this?
Pencil first.
I have not played this.
No,
Pencil
I have
first.
not.
No? Okay. So this is
Thunderworks,
Pencil
okay.
First Games. It's by Pencil First Games, but the designer is Keith from Thunderworks Games.
Oh, really?
Oh,
The
Matechka.
publisher.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Keith Matechka, who is the publisher of Thunderworks Games, who does,
Cartographers, role players.
Cartographers, role player, and that sort of thing. So this is a 2-player games where one player is a group of foxes, little foxes right in the front there, and the other one is a giant monster. So it's between
Cthulhu.
the monster and the little foxes.
Okay.
So each time it is a card play where each time it's visually really fun as well. So it's a card play, and it dictates your action, what you're going to do, what the opponent's going to do, and it is visually it's really fun. So I don't know if there's a picture of the giant. So there's a big cat giant monster. That the little foxes like jump on that, like visually really fun. Just imagining like little foxes jump into that,
jumping on a monster.
The arms. It's trying to disable the big monster's attacks, and they have to keep going there. And then once it's full, it's disabled. So it's kind of like making it weaker. So the monster will get weaker as the game goes, and the fox will get stronger as the game goes.
Okay.
That's the action that you can do there. There's a card that dictates your action. So it's visually fun. It is. It's placed on the board as well, where you move around your pieces. Too bad there's no picture of the actual card. There it is.
There was
No,
that's
go
the
back.
monster, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine like the fox jump onto the arm, jump onto
Yeah.
there's different monsters as well. So that's the health.
Oh,
of,
wow, that's really
the
cool.
actual. It's got
So
a
my
health.
character
Yeah.
is your board that you're playing on.
There's also a board where visually where this is actually located located on the actual world. But then there's this other board as well that represent the fox will jump onto that board to jump into that the big monster to try to disable it.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's really fun. It's making it it's asymmetric, obviously, very asymmetric.
Yeah.
With the fox players will play the fox cards on their board, and while the big monster will try to destroy it. So that's how you win. You kind of like try to destroy
like
the other. Yeah, that's the board there.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So
That's a huge monster. It's as big as that.
Yeah, and there are different monsters you can play with. The different fox for the fox players. There's different fox cards you play with as well. There's different, weaker one. There's high one. Sorry, one of the monsters that I play. The goal is to kill certain number of foxes. Taran was the foxes, and he was like playing the weaker foxes at the start, which is easy for me to kill. So, and then he realized it later, and then gets me weaker, and then he finally won. That's one game that I best
Taran.
game ever.
So did I miss it?
Taran's
So
really
you
good.
said the fox player is playing basically a card game. Their cards tell them what they can do, but it looks like the monster player has these boards that tell them what they can do.
Also, this also has got a card that dictate their action, what they can do. They can, move. They can smash. They can do their, that's the powers that flap, clam, shriek, or whatever it is that they can do to the foxes. It's just so fun. Like imagine little foxes like clinging to that monsters, and the monsters like get out of me. It feels like that. Yeah, and it is only 2 players. It is getting expansion. I'm not too sure the expansion might have more than 2 players.
Oh, really? Okay.
Capability. I can't remember what's the expansions. But yeah, those are the foxes, the little foxes. They've got different powers, so completely asymmetric, but we're just trying to achieve the goals. And I think it might be I'm not too sure. I only play with one type of monster, so I'm not too sure if the other one has got different objectives, but that one was just to kill a certain number of foxes.
Right.
So
I love the art.
So yeah, that's Skulk color.
It's
Yeah,
got
Skulk's
such a
really good.
classic, like Robin Hood Disney feel. The old.
Yeah. It looks like root. Like those little foxes looks like root pieces. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah, definitely. That's really impressive. It's so interesting. I mean, that Keith just didn't publish this himself. I mean, this doesn't feel like a pencil first game at all.
Yeah.
This feels like it would have made more sense coming from Thunderworks, but I mean, it's so adorable.
Yeah, so it's adorable. War 2. It's kind of like almost like a chat. Well, not like 2 players. A lot of players. 2 players game feels a bit like chess. So it's like where you move your pawns in the board, but then when the little foxes get into the space where the giant monster is, they can jump into the monsters and then trying to weaken their certain attacks on their certain part of the body to disable it. So, as I said earlier, the longer the game goes, I think it's the better for the foxes, because then the monster most
Gets
probably
weaker and
will
weaker.
The monster can heal themselves by playing the card, but you need to. There's certain actions on the card, so once you play, you can't get to that action again until later on. That's that mechanics as well, where you have to really save the cards for later, use it now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a stunning looking game, I have to say.
Yeah. I heard it's also well regarded for 2-player games. It's asymmetric 2-player combat game.
Well, I mean, his other designs, I mean, Cartographers and Role Player, I mean, those are a couple of the best games that have come out in years. So, I mean, he's definitely proven his bona fides as a designer. So, wow.
And I was actually talking to him the other day at Gamma Expo, and he said that this COVID makes him, staying at home, not going to physical convention, and then design more games. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing coming out of things. I can't wait to see what the expansions bring.
Yeah.
Because we both, me and Taryn, really enjoy this this game.
Wow, that is really
so
cool.
That is, yeah, Skulk.
All right.
Skulk Hollow.
Well, let's see if Ella can top that with her number 6. All right.
No. Not
It's
with
not a
those
competition.
monsters.
It's not a competition.
No monsters in mine. So again, so this is Blitzkrieg. So
Oops,
it's
shoot.
Blitzkrieg. There's a oh sorry, that's
hello.
me. Blitzkrieg.
Hi
Hello.
there. Oh,
Yes,
let me click
hello.
again. I
There,
don't know
there
what
it
I
is.
did. Instagram. I'm an Instagram noob.
There, at the top.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it
That's
is. Okay,
fine.
yes.
You can go to
All right.
BGG if you want. Yeah,
There it
so
is.
that's Blitzkrieg. So
Oh, yes.
I was
Yeah.
yes. I am interested in this game because it was made by Paolo
Mm-hmm.
Mori. So a lot of my favorite games are by him. So Ethnos, Dogs of War,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of my favorite games. So it's a bidding area control game. If you notice, there is a theme. I like a lot of area control games. So this is where a game you're playing either as axes or allies, but really it's an abstraction of war. It could be any theme really. They could have changed this to like people competing on social media platforms and
Okay, yeah.
they want to control Facebook, whatever. So it can be different. So what you're doing is, so this is not a skirmish game at all. This is an area control
Okay.
game. So you're pulling tokens from a bag representing your forces, so land, air, and sea. Then you're placing these tokens in different that's what they call it, theaters of war. So and then you want so in each theater of war there's a track and you want to push your cube towards your side so that you win. So each time you put a token, it can either push your cube or give you a lot of certain things that are different, maybe like give you bombs or give you more points or have you draw more tiles and things like that. So it's a tug of war in 20 minutes. It's really great. So the places on the boards have different effects, give you different bonuses. You're like, okay, I want these bonuses, but then also my opponent is really doing well in this theater of war, so I better check up on that. So you have to be looking at those specific places, but also have to be looking at the bigger picture of where your opponent is winning, because each theater of war has specific points, and you have to keep track of that in your head. Oh, okay, so they have 6 points now because they got that, or they have this point, so I better be winning on the other. And it's very quick to play, and it has an expansion with Godzilla in it. So which only
Godzilla.
which only proves that it can be any theme really. So if you're turned off by the theme, people think it's a war game. It's not a war game. It's more an area in its abstraction. It's an area control game.
How
So
do
there,
you?
and if you like
how do you
Godzilla,
fight
play with
for? I
expansion.
mean, I saw there were like a bunch of tokens and stuff like that, and people have shields. How do you fight for domination?
For control. So when you place a token, it will have a number on it, and it will tell you how many spaces you go either left or right, depending on which what's that hand? Yeah. So look at those numbers. So if you see their numbers on there on your tile, so that tank has a 3, it means that'll only move 3. So towards your side. So you're always like pulling it back, pushing it back again, and when it reaches the end of that track towards your side, you win that theater.
Okay.
Yeah, and then those are special bonuses that you have. So also, for example, a tank can only go on land.
Oh,
of course. Like, and then So there are certain places you can put those tiles, and there are certain bonuses. You get shields, defense, or you can bomb an opponent. So there are bonuses on it that make it like a little more interesting than just pushing a cube to the other end.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is an example of people have been pushing back and forth on this one quite a bit. Because a lot of stuff's
quite a bit. Because you have to do the first line, and then you can only place like where you've placed before. So it's not as if you can leap to the 5 and things like that. So you have to be strategic when you place things.
They use cheats. That's why it looks like war games, because those are
that's
cheats.
true. It has
War
that
games.
feel, even though it's a totally different kind of game.
I think it's because it's also PSC games, so that's why it's a war theme.
PSC.
So if it was a different publisher, it would be a different theme altogether. But it's Paolo Mori, like sold. I'm like, I want this at Essen. I got it at Essen when it came out. But yeah, it's a great 2-player game. Again, you can play with Godzilla, which is like, which is very cool with the expansion. So Blitzkrieg. With an exclamation point, which makes it different from the other Blitzkrieg games.
Well, no, I just tried to find it, and there were like
Make
50,000
it all the
games with
different.
Blitzkrieg in the title, so I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to find it at all. I've heard really good things about this. I remember Tom Vassell raved about this quite a bit as well at that same Essen. And Paolo Mori is fantastic.
It's great.
everything he does is really clever.
Have you played Dogs of War? That's a great game. It's like a bidding area control game. It was made by Simon. I was shocked by that. So it was like a Euro game. Back in the days, it was one of their first Kickstarters. So I had to find where I can get the little pieces because, on eBay.
We've been going for a while. I've lost track. Was it Stella who said she really likes peaceful live and let live games? And it was, no, I think it was Ella who said that.
No, it depends on the game. I think if it's an area control game, I can do it. If it's an engine building game where you're like, everything is dependent on me building the engine and you destroy it, and then I'm like, I can't do anything now. I don't like it. But in area control game, this one is a tug of war. Like, okay, you did that, but I can get back on my feet. Like if I do this.
It's not like you have a sense of ownership of I moved it 3 steps to the left. This is everything I've ever. It's just like, oh, well, it moves to the right. It has a different feel, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that is definitely a popular game. And
should check it out.
My number 5 has no warfare in it whatsoever. Just continuing the theme. This is Aerion. And this is a game in the Universe series from designer Shady Torbay, I believe. And all his games take place in this kind of far out, fantastical. Oh, what would you call it?
Like Onirim.
Yeah, Onirim. Yeah, was the first one. Yeah. And in this game, players are trying to build airships. And to build an airship, you need a blueprint, you need building materials, and then you need a crew to fly it. And if you do that, you get to take the airship and you score points. The way you get these airships is on your turn, you roll dice, and you're basically trying to get poker hands. 2 pair, a straight, a full house, or what have you. Because if you get 2 pair, you get a full house. It'll show you, hey, well, one of the card that's in the two pair column, I could take that card. The problem is right now the card that I can get with my 2 pair is a blueprint for a ship I am not building. And I have no use for that card. I don't want that card. But I'm desperate to get the crew that I know is somewhere in the deck in this column. So you roll your dice, and by default you just get 1 roll. And you say, well, okay, at least I got 2 of a kind, or I've got 3 of a kind, or I've got a full house, or I've got a straight, or whatever. And that will let you pick 1 of the available cards that's on display. You can take that and make that part of your airship if it works for you, but more often it doesn't. So what you do then is you remove that one from the game, and that every card you remove from the game because it didn't fit what you needed gives you the chance to re-roll dice. So it can become a Yahtzee type thing. Okay, well, I'm going to re-roll these 3 dice because I'm really trying to get that full house, and I will trash this card to do it. And you might say, oh, well, okay, I'll just keep trashing cards till I roll what I want. The problem is, when the cards run out, the game is over. This is a cooperative game where the 2 of us have to get these 6 specific things built. But every time we toss a card so we can re-roll, that card's not coming back. And and later on we will regret getting rid of that crew because now I've got the ship, I can put the crew in, but we trashed that card earlier. And there are all kinds of special powers that let you go back and get trashed cards or store extra cards off to the side so that you can bring them back at the right time. You don't have to crush them again because once you start building a ship, you can only put cards that match it. So it is a very, very tricky game, but it's really satisfying. I have played almost every Oniverse game from Shady Torbay. The only one I missed was the one that hasn't gotten a fancy reprint from Z-Man. Urbion, I think, is the only one I haven't played. Of all of his games, I think this was his best one. It's a really satisfying, at its core, it's a Yahtzee game where imagine Yahtzee, every time you re-roll, it's painful because you're really having to sacrifice big things to get those re-rolls so you can get those perfect sets so you can get the perfect card to put it in the slot. And the interesting thing, the way you can play it solo, in which case I've just got 2 work stations. I'm trying to build one over here, I'm trying to build one over there, so it gives you some flexibility. If, Stella, you and I are playing it together, I've got a workstation, you've got a workstation, and then we have a shared one that both of us can play to. So it might be that we're both trying to build to that central one, and I can help you get something in there when I roll, but I could get the card I need for mine, and so you have to make those kinds of compromises and trade-offs as well. It's lovely, it's fast, it's charming. All of his games are really great, and of all of them, I think this is his best one, Aerion.
This one I might get sounds so interesting, and I love the Yahtzee mechanic. Anything that has a Yahtzee mechanic is a win for me. I like those kinds of decisions. Yeah.
It always feels like.
And I think I need more. I need more cooperative game to do two players.
Yeah.
Is this the first co-op game we've talked about? I think you're right. I think it is.
Yeah,
think
it
so.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of what two players are co-op, and there are not. There are there a lot of co-op games.
Yeah,
Mostly it's
they are.
3 or 4. There are.
They are,
Oh, are they on your list?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out. Well, maybe we'll find out right now. Let's see what Stella's number 5 is.
Gosh, I want to get this one.
It's
Ariel.
it's a blast. It's great, and it's a great
me too.
solo
I want to
game,
get
too.
it.
It's a wonderful
Alright,
solo
yeah.
experience. Alrighty, here we go. Stella's number 5. Let's see what she's got. Show me what you got. All right.
This is a fun video that I made with Tarrant.
Yes.
This is we playing Klask, which is Duel, and he was talking. He make it like a sport, like he was talking in the
sports
background.
announcer.
Yeah, like a sport commentary.
Oh, really?
In the background.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the game. I don't think there's a lot of. You need a lot more explanation. Have you played it?
No, I've never played it. I've
Like
seen
Ella
it.
has.
I get what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. You should play it.
Yeah, it's just magnet. It's like air hockey, but it's a little one where you need to score those the yellow thing in the like that in the to score
in
the
the
goal.
hole.
Or if your opponent got attracts 2 magnets out of those 3 white ones in the middle, and they'll lose as well. that
Oh,
round.
so you don't want the
And
magnets on you.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
I don't
No,
get a
you
goal,
don't.
but I hit you with 2 of those white things, they get stuck on you. You can't get rid of them, and you lose a point,
Yes.
or I gain a point, or whatever.
Yes. Or you lose control and you lose that round as well. So the first 2, I think 6 points will
What's
win.
lose control mean?
That's basically it. When you lose, like, it should have example later. So when, so you control the thing with magnet on the bottom,
Oh.
and sometimes you just like flick it so far or so quick, so hard, and you don't have control of your thing
Right.
as well.
It's like
So
air hockey.
You're controlling it with
It's
the
like air
magnet.
hockey, but your hands
Yeah.
are below the table instead of on top of the table.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's not the strongest
Yes.
magnet in the world. So if you push too hard,
No.
you'll lose.
Yeah.
You'll quote lose control.
You lose
Right.
control. Yes. Or if your pawn on the top of the table got stuck
you
in
got-
the hole,
Yep.
that's it. Like I got 2. Isn't it? Yeah. There's instant replay as well if you wanna.
No, yeah, he really went the whole
It's
9
like a
yards. And you said
sport.
that this video has color commentary too from the. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. From Tarrant. He likes to watch footy, which is Australian football. So he can do these sort of things, and then with the crowd in the background, the fake crowd, obviously. That's what I put. So yeah, that's Klask. It's a really fun game. Looks like I won
Congratulations, Team
6-4.
Stella. Excellent.
For that one, for that round, first round. I think Tarrant won the next
Yeah.
one. I think it goes 3 rounds, or the first 2 wins. That's it. It's a simple game. Anyone can play. It's a dexterity
yeah.
game, obviously. I really like Klask.
Yep.
Thanks. Yeah, via distribution. I think it's got that in Australia.
Give you that. Okay, give me a second.
Oh.
I have a problem with
Yeah.
the audio. I think I lost I didn't lose it like this space, so I have to move something.
Oh, okay,
So I have
okay,
to re-record again.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
folks,
sorry about that.
Hold
So-
on. We will
That's
clear
okay.
some hard drive space and be right back. Ready, spaghetti?
Yes. Very spaghetti.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Ella got her proxy file explosion under control. It was she was about to have a complete and total meltdown with the proxy files, the 4K proxy files, which Stella and I were just like, wow, that's a lot of hard drive space you're using there. But she has a lot of video.
Yeah.
But we should be able to continue now to Ella's number 5. And fortunately, while Ella was working on that, we had the entire Klask championship to watch, which was very dramatic. It came right down to the wire. But okay, we're going to move now on to number 5. And it is...
I wanted you.
What?
Klask!
Wow.
That's why I wanted you to win.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Okay.
That is
All right, let's
hilarious.
go back to
in the
the
same
original
game.
video.
How did that happen?
Really? Wow. Is this a total
I love
coincidence?
this game.
There was...
Yes, total coincidence. We did not
Yeah,
talk.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
It's awesome.
not at all.
I love it that happens because it's so random. Like the probability
Yeah.
of you having the same game on the same number is
Exactly,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Classic is.
All right.
So there's nothing to explain.
No, I don't think
Stella
there's much more to say about
You watch a
Klask
whole
at this
video. Fun fact though, there's world championships for this. If you join, you can go to Helsinki and dip in the freezing the ocean that they have during the championships. So people are serious. There's one designer that I know, Askerd, who made
Oscar Grenerud.
Yeah, he's a class champion.
A world champion.
So,
Wow.
fun fact. World champion, yeah. So if you Google the videos, you'll see him on. Because I was shocked, like, Askers, that's you. Yeah. So I'm not very good at this, but I like to play it. And this is the kind of game that you'd love to bring if you have a teenager
sure.
to camping, because it's so easy. It's like a little suitcase. You bring it anywhere. It's like a foosball game that you can play place on top of your table. Yeah.
As long as you don't lose your little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get
Somewhere.
replacements. Easy to get replacements.
Is that
So.
okay? Good.
Yeah,
I think-
I know, you know somebody who can give you replacements, Stella. So
I think Stella was saying that there's now a player version of it as well.
yes, yes, I haven't played that. I kind of like this better
haven't
just
played-
because, I like the tightness of two
Yeah.
people. I would go like how I have to look at that and that and that, but I'm sure other
Like,
people.
Would
yeah,
that
if
be
it's in a
like king
pub-
making? Yeah, for 4 players, it would be like king making, or let's just attack that player because that player is doing well, sort of thing. Well, with 2 players, there's no king making,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Those white things, by the way, are called biscuits. I don't know why, but
that's
that's what they're
adorable.
called. Yeah. Yeah. They have very strange names for the things, so that's a biscuit.
Actually, we've been watching it for so long now with your proxy thing. It's very hypnotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you play this
Like
with your
left and
husband,
right,
with your
right,
chess-playing husband, Ella?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a lot, because he's very competitive. He's so we like
I can imagine.
like one more best of 3,
Uh-huh.
then it's best of 5, then it's best of 7 because you play it
keep
over and
losing?
over. Yeah, you keep, because there you think it's pretty easy, but it's not. It's like how hard you flick. Also, you make use of those biscuits because those biscuits, if 2 stick on you, those are actually points you concede. So that's also another tactic to get points, because it's not only just shooting. It's if those what do you call that? Strikers also go into the
Yeah.
hole. That's also
Yeah.
a point. So it's So there are a lot of ways to get better at this.
Hidden depths.
I'm not as good. Yeah, it's great. Like foosball in your house. Less expensive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that was our quickest entry yet. Both of yours, number 5,
Yeah.
is Klask. Okay.
That's amazing.
That is awesome. All right, we will now move on to my number 4, which I'm very sorry to say is not Klask. Sorry. That would have been awesome.
It's okay.
But no. This is Glasgow.
What is
And I don't know if
this?
you played it. It's a newer game. It just came out last year. You
No, I
probably
haven't.
haven't, but maybe
Oh,
you
no.
played Glenmore.
Yes, I have played Glenmore.
I haven't played
This is from a different designer, different publisher. It has nothing to do with Glenmore, but it so gives me Glenmore vibes as a 2-player game.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because at its heart,
Sold.
each player has a little meeple, and it's a rondelle where you can move forward as far as you want on that rondelle. Think Patchwork. You know, it's very patchworky style thing. And you're, okay, I got to jump forward because I need to get more bricks to build this building I'm trying to build. But if I jump too far forward, I give you a whole bunch of turns while you catch up with me. You know, I mean, that's it. Glenmore didn't invent that. I think first time people saw that was probably Thebes a million years ago. But it works wonderfully here.
I haven't
And it's
played
interesting.
Thebes.
A lot of times for time track games like this, when you play them 2-player, players have a tendency, I'm just going to move forward a little bit and you're going to move forward a little bit. Because in a 2-player game, if I move forward a long ways, it gives you too much power. If you're playing a 4-player game, if I move forward a long ways, okay, I'm giving everybody a little bit of a bonus. But this game, it really works very well. Also, the rondelle is randomly generated every time. But what we're moving forward is to grab pieces to build buildings, and all the buildings get placed to you're building downtown Glasgow, which I believe the rules, if I've read this years ago, said something about how, or whenever I played it, how it was like the first straight road city in Europe or something like that. So you're building this downtown
Nice.
Glasgow. But the interesting thing is, when I put a new tile
First straight road.
yeah, it was something like that. When I put a tile down, it activates all the other tiles that are on that row or column. And that it can include your tiles as well.
Oh,
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it already.
Prisoner's Dilemma.
Yes,
Prisoner's
that's
Dilemma.
when things
Yeah.
get really, really interesting. And it's really, I mean, it's got these two separate games that are going on at the same time. The tile laying and being careful about what you're going to activate. I want to activate all of my stuff. Oh, you put your stuff right in the middle of my stuff. Now I got to activate your stuff as well. And of course, there's other way you score points by getting certain tiles next to each other. I mean, you've seen this in a lot of tile laying style games. But yeah, the rondel thing is great. The tile laying is great. It's a great little two-player only game. I think. Did it make my top 10 of the year? It might have. I don't remember. Or maybe it just missed my top 10. It's so good.
Glasgow.
And I recommend it super highly. My number 4.
I believe you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
no Klask.
I'll get it
But
done.
it
It could be
So
Klask.
good. But it wasn't.
Okay, let's see. All right, Stella's number 4. Let's see here.
It's
Here we go.
hilarious.
Here it comes.
Dun, dun, dun. Some wrong sound
Klask.
Ah,
effects.
there we go. I called it. Could I call it? For the folks who are listening.
You called it. You call it correct.
for
There's not.
Targi.
This game does not need a lot of introduction. This is actually a video about the expansion. I like the
Okay.
expansion to make it a little bit friendlier. Taryn prefer the base one because it is more tighter. This is usually me and
Yeah.
Taryn usually does that. I like the expansion, like the tiny towns, because it's a little bit friendlier. Taryn likes things tighter.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. Targi it is, same like LR.
Yep.
Please see previews, comments about Targi. That's basically it. Give you, and even Richard just gave us more information about the, oops, sorry, I just hit something, about the extra things, like more things you can do. It's a little bit friendlier.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a good. I mean, I've heard like mixed review. I think some people aren't happy with it, but we really dug it. I mean, it makes the game deeper.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus, a lot of people don't realize this. You can mix and match the original cards with the expansion and create like
Yep.
completely new layouts of games as well. My only question to
Which
you,
is great,
I'll
yeah.
ask you, why is this only your number 4?
Because you'll see number 3 and 2 and 1.
All right,
And
I
you'll
guess
probably
so.
understand.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our first, if you consider my original list from 5 years, this is our first 3-way crossover. Because it was on my list, and I don't know. It was probably my number 1, 2, or 3. I'd have to go back and look, but
There you go.
I can't get enough Targi. One of the best games, one of the best 2-player only games in history. It's so good. And
Yes.
and what's this
so
guy's
good.
name? I want to say Andreas Steiger or something like that.
Andres Stagner, yeah.
And
And
I keep
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
I mean, this is such a tough act to follow.
For another
Can you
game.
imagine making one of the best 2-player games
Yeah.
ever, and everybody's waiting. Well, what do you got now? I don't know.
yeah, yes.
How about an expansion to one of the best 2-player games ever? Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. Good choice. Excellent.
yeah.
All right. Well, and there's anything more you want to say about it?
That's quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's move on to Ella's number 4. Here we go. Ah.
Oh,
Quarto.
Quarto.
Yeah. So I'm not. This is. I'm not a big fan of abstract games. But I like this game a lot because of the main mechanics. So usually in games like this, you take a piece and you play it. In Quarto, it's the opposite. You choose a piece, and the other player has to play
Wow.
it. So it's very strategic in that sense. So what you need to do is, so it's that grid, 4x4, and you need to complete a row with 4 pieces on it that are either same color, same height, same shape, or consistency, which is like it has holes in it. So that different way of thinking about playing a thing, of giving the piece to your opponent rather than you playing the piece, is really good. So, and it's pretty quick to play. You can play it over and over again, and it's just, yeah, so it's very chess-like in that sense, where I don't know why I like this better. Maybe because the decision space is smaller. It's just, okay, I'm giving this to you, I'm just making a row, versus like other abstract games where you have to think like 10 steps ahead, and I will never win a game where it's like just like, no, it's just I don't have the brain capacity. Well, I do, but I'm like, I don't find that type of game fun. But this one, it's really intriguing in that sense, and very simple. And and of course, as I said, my husband likes a lot of abstract games, so we play this a lot. He loves this game. Yeah. So.
And then
Yes.
after,
I guess that kind of like thinking. Sorry, you
I was
go.
going to say, after he beats you, then you get out Klask, and you show him.
Throw it at him.
I guess it's kind of thinking the split draft mechanics like in the pizza game, New York Slice.
New York Slice.
The splitter is not the one that picks up the pieces first.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you choose this one, and then the opponent will move it first.
Yeah.
I guess.
I played this a lot also because this is on BGA. It's a great a game to play with people online. So if you're looking for a game that's quick to play, you don't have to... Because in BGA, right, what do you want to play? Oh, let's play this. Oh, I don't know that. This one, it's so easy to teach, but it's so meaty that you can easily play it with somebody with a quick teach. So that's why it's very high on my list. Like,
how old is this game? It seems like... Has it been around forever? 1991.
I think so.
This feels like a game that's probably existed for 200 years.
Wow.
But I'm surprised.
Yeah. I'm always surprised by simple games. Like, that's why I'm also a fan of Phil Walker Harding. Like, people who can make, like, simple, short games, I find, like, how is
that
do you
his
do that?
game?
Because, no, that's not. Quarto.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually don't know who the designer is.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's like who designed chess like that. All right.
Yeah, who designed chess? The Chinese.
Blaze Mueller is the designer.
Let's click.
He
What
also
other
did
games?
Nut Job. And a couple of other games. But yeah, I mean, this is that Andreas Steiger. You launch with Quattro, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go from there? That's a tough act to follow. But yeah, that's a really good choice. I've never played it, but I do know it. I'm very aware of it, and I just wish you would have put a theme on it. Put a theme on it, man. You can totally do it.
You can. Let's do it. Let's kickstart
Yeah,
it.
there we go.
Oh gosh, I got that the song in my mind. Yep,
exactly. Put a ring on
it's like
it.
when you say put a theme on it, put a ring on it.
Does that mean we're going to get another Stella sing-along soon?
No.
Then you probably put a theme on it?
No, you don't want to. No.
If
No,
you
don't
want to sell
Stella
more,
sing
put a theme on it.
Yeah. I love that.
Folks, I think we've been here a while. We're starting to get a little loopy.
Yes. Okay, let's go to.
Okay, my number 3, bringing us back to discipline. All right, here we go. My number 3 is Bohnanza the Duel. And I don't know if you played this. You probably played Bohnanza. I think probably most people have played Bohnanza.
Yes.
This is a 2-player only version of Bohnanza that is brilliant. It at its heart, it still has the same thing of, I got a bunch of beans, and the order that they come into my hand is the order I must play them. I can't rearrange my hand, which has always been the heart of it. And every round, you are going to play a few beans to your own growing fields. And what is the restriction? I think if I play a 12, I can only play another 12 on it, or I could play a 14, or... Yeah, because they go up in even numbers. So you're very, very restricted of how you have to play them. And if you get to a spot where the next card in your hand, you can't play it because of that restriction, then, you don't get to play something. Instead, you have to harvest the beans you've already planted, and you probably won't get very many points because you're trying to get a lot of beans planted so you get a lot of points.
Sounds fun.
And that's great. Just that is really cool right there. The puzzle of, I got to play these in the right order, and I've got to make decisions. I can see this is going to be the third card I play, and I want that to be a new thing. But every round, the other thing that happens, because Bohnanza is all about trade, but in a 2-player game, trade isn't going to work. So what happens instead is every round there is a gift-giving phase, where after I plant some of my own bean cards, I then draw 3 cards,
You have to give.
and I have a choice. I can offer any of those 3 face-up cards to you, Ella, as a gift, or I can offer you one of the ones from my hand. And the thing is, I'm looking at what you're trying to grow and what you need. You need a 12. You need a 12 desperately. And I could offer you this 12 I just drew, or I didn't draw 12. But I might say, I'm going to offer you this 8 or this 20 or whatever for my hand. Now, the trick is, if I don't offer you one of the face-up ones, which you could then choose to take, if you choose not to take my gift, because I can figure out, you don't want my gift, because my gift would be useless to you, and you don't want to get stuck with it, then you say, all right, I won't accept your gift, and then you have to give a gift to me. And that's a way that our cards are switching back and forth. And then...
so that's a trade.
Exactly. It's kind of an enforced trade rule system. But then the most brilliant thing is, when I'm offering you, you can see the 3 I'm offering, but I'm going to say, no, I'll offer you this 8 from my hand. I could be lying. I might not have an 8. And because I don't want to give you cards, I want you to not accept my gift to give me cards, so I've got more to play.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and if I look over there and I see, oh, well, you clearly don't want an 8, you're not going to be able to plant it, I could probably get away with saying, hey, she's not going to take my 8. She won't know that I'm actually bluffing. And then, yeah, I got something. Or you will call my bluff. And if that happens, I forget, there's a penalty where you lose some points or something. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have to give you an entire coin, which is a huge point shift.
Huge deal.
If you call my bluff and it turns out I was bluffing. It is brilliant. It does something completely different than original Bohnanza, but makes Bohnanza the core spirit. Oh, and then there's one other thing. We have objective cards. We're trying to get, not only am I just trying to get a bunch of beans planted so I can score points off them, but I might have an objective that says, okay, I want to get 3 matching and then 2 matching. So I might go 12, 12, 12, 14, 14. And perfect. And then I can get points off of this bonus card. Here's the thing. I'll get those bonus points if I do it or if you do it. So I might give you gifts, hoping you will take the gift and hoping you will play it where I think you will, so that I can then score my bonus off of the work that I had you do. It is mind-blowingly brilliant from Uwe Rosenberg. It works.
Yeah.
There is so much going on. But
Question is, are you able to think what Jen think as well in this game?
I think I mentioned this earlier.
As in Fugitive.
It is.
Yeah.
That is the problem we have with these kinds of games. This one, it works fairly well. I think she just... I do tend to bluff and blow it in this one, maybe a bit more. I mean, I think she just kind of expects... And quite frankly, it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun, and I think I'm a little bit too predictable. It's actually worked out fairly well for us. I guess my only complaint is, it is maybe a little bit... I kind of wish it were just a little bit shorter, because it can go upwards of an hour. And, for these kinds of games, often you don't expect that to... But, I mean, it's great, and there's so much going on. I'm just blown away by it. It's so clever. And then, of course, it also has the Bohnanza art, all those cute little bean art pictures, like all the different versions of Bohnanza throughout the years. I was really impressed. I mean, how do you make trade work in a 2-player game? Well, you come up with all these rules, and then you create mind games around it, and it's fantastic.
So clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a really clever game. I need to check it out as well. I've already written that down. Thank you.
Well, these will all be written down in the final video, so you don't have to take notes now.
It's actually true.
Okay.
But like the sooner the better, right?
There you go. Yep. Okay, so that was my number 3. Moving on to Stella.
All right.
Number 3 is...
So my top 3, it's kind of like I actually cannot decide which one I want to do first, second, and third. I choose this one because I probably play the least amount compared to the other 2, but I still like top 3 is I can't choose. So this is actually Seastead.
Yes.
Have you heard of it, or
Seastead is probably my number 11. It almost made my list.
Wow.
It almost made my list. It was so close, and I kept going back and forth. Is it my number 10 or is it my number 11?
So it is in the world of Flotilla. It's like Watergate, the board game, but it's completely different game, but in the same universe. It is, well, Richard does already know this game. So Ella, have you heard of it?
I've heard it from you because you've been raving about it. So I should have to write it down so I remember. Because I remember you were saying this is such a great game. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so Richard
I'm just going to bring up my video because it's a little bit closer than the...
Awesome. Yeah. So it's really tight, two-player game where every single move counts. So you can plan ahead. And it's simple. All you do in your turn is 2 different things. Either one, build buildings that you and then you do the action, or second one is to get resources. And when you get resources, it's kind of also prisoner's dilemma because the resource cards come in 2 sides, and you choose which side you get. You get this side, you get this type of resources, and that means that your opponent will get that resources. And the least amount you take resources is the better. Because then you'll be building. You try to combo and you try to calculate every single resources to be able to build, and after build, and then make sure your opponent cannot afford to build, so that they will have to die and give you free resources. Okay, right. Richard, you need to tell me what you like.
I mean, strictly speaking, this is an I split you choose kind of game. Except it's different because the player who is doing it doesn't have to choose. What we have always found I split you choose style games do not work for us because when it's Jen's turn to do it, she will spend a half an hour. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Which one do I do? Do I put this or that or the other? In this game, if you're diving, your turn is either you're building or you're diving. If you're diving, that just means you draw the top card. The split has already happened. You just have to choose, okay, I'm going to get one half of this stuff, you're going to get the other half. And so it has all that tough decision making without the I guess creative element because it does the heavy lifting for you. And that for that reason it works so well for us. Although oddly, I don't know how this always works out. When Jen and I played it, I seem to do 80% of the diving somehow. And meanwhile, she's just off building like crazy and I'm just feeding her all this stuff. But it's so good.
Maybe you like swimming. You like swimming.
Yeah. I like to help out. I like to help out.
Diving.
Where I can. But it's a really clever design. And I know. So there's an example of if somebody went diving and they found a submerged. Rewind a little bit. Rewind a little bit again. What are you going to choose? Are you going to say, okay, well, I'm going to get these two matching ones, or am I going to get three completely different ones? Because it's all about getting matching stuff. If you want to build stuff, you need to have, several of a given type. And that's a tough choice. And whenever you dive, you're in control, so that is a big deal.
Yeah.
But somehow, when you're playing Jen, my wife, no matter what you give her, she will find a way to make it work. And... and then it has a lot of variety too. Yeah. There's a bunch of unique player powers that you can get that are like denizens of this harbor that you can use to help you. And it's a really sharp game. Like I said, it was so neck and neck between this and what was my number 10?
Neck and neck. Right.
Fugitive. Yeah.
It is. I feel like this is a little bit slightly underrated. And this is our top 10 games of 2020 in Interact. Yeah. And I feel like it needs to be played. It is, the price point is good. It's not expensive, and it's really tight to players. We play with the designers as well. It is, every single thing count. Like Richard say, like those resources. Usually, more resources will give you you want to get the same resources to build building, but there are other ways. When you build the building will help you. Like the boat, when you go build on the space with the boat, means you get a discount, for example, or there's a certain spot that gives you other bonuses as well. It's just so good.
And that's the thing. If I know you're going to build someplace, I want to get my boat over there. So that you will actually take advantage of my boat, and I will end up getting more out of it than you do. The discount you get.
As well.
Super. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
It's a tiny little box. It's gorgeous. I mean, the pieces are really great. Gorgeous. The nice little boats and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of kicking myself now that it didn't make my number 10. So we could have had another overlap. But a good choice.
But it's an honorable mention. Is this a retail already, or was this a Kickstarter?
Retail.
And we have to wait.
It went straight to retail.
I'm going to check it out
2019, I think, right?
Okay.
You can borrow my game, Ella, if you want.
Yeah,
as long as it's coming back, then.
What if I like it too
it
much?
always comes. It always comes back. I know you. So definitely, it's
It's an excellent game.
Me and Taryn will.
I'm not going to say it's.
I'm going to check it out.
Targi. So I bet if we do this list again in 10 years, I bet you Targi will have climbed a little bit above. But it's fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Good call. I'm happy about that one. And I'm glad it got mentioned too. Because I really did want to give it a shout out. So thank you for that, because it's a great game. Okay. Good call from Ella. Stella. Let's move on to Ella's number 3. Oh, I'm not holding shift. I had it down before. Control won't work. Here we go. Okay. Oh my. Oh. Yes.
Yeah, so Battleline, I discovered this game because of a video you made, and I remember it so fondly because you said, I'm not very good at this game strategy-wise, but I like playing it. So Battleline there's 2 people face across a battle line, hence the name. So the aim is to win either 5 flags, 5 of the 9 flags or 3 adjacent flags. So, and what I love about this game, it's a great introduction to modern board games. That's why it was one of the best games that I played when I was new, because you're playing poker hands, and the best hand of cards that you can play is a straight flush. Next is, I think, 3 of a kind, and then next is flush, and then a straight. So it's just poker hands. So it's so easy to teach. And but the thing that's hard about it is when am I going to play those cards? Because then you play. I play. Say for example, you had a 3 in that video. I remember you had a 3 and a 1.
I don't remember this video. This video, I was probably had one of my biggest meltdowns ever filming. I mean, I just kept my brain just kept circling and circling because it's so deep, so many decisions to make, and I was trying to maintain 2 players at once. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
I'm having
so hard.
flashbacks.
I don't know how you can do that. Maintain 2 players at once.
Yeah, it's very
Your
hard
speciality.
to play alone, actually. Yeah. But yeah, so say for example you had a 3 and a 1. Am I going to play that, or am I going to keep the 3 so that I have a 3 of a kind? So, but that's a straight flush. But then, am I going to get the 2? But what if I don't get the 2? Then, I don't want to curse. I was going to say something.
Yes.
So then I've.
You can keep that on your own channel, lady.
I've
This is a
ruined myself.
family-friendly channel over here. I don't believe you curse on your channel either, for the record, in case anybody
No, either. But I think what's different, because this was originally shot and Totten,
I
right?
think that's
so
right,
Shot and Totten, it originally didn't have the tactic cards, and the tactic cards are pretty good because you can draw. So you can either take set the cards, the numbered cards, or you can take a tactic card. And the tactic card is more bonus, like you can get wilds, so different other things. So it's not just about waiting for the right card. So you can. So it's more than that, because people think, then you're screwed. You're kind of you're in trouble. That's the word. You're in trouble if you don't get the you're in trouble if you don't get the right card. But the tactic cards make it very different. So that one I think
That's
is a
cavalry one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why it's pretty high on my list. It's one of his best. Well, I would say the best game he has.
Right. Yeah. I think you could make a safe argument. I mean, I'm sure people would make the argument this is his best game. Some people would say Lost City. Some people would say Tigris and Euphrates. But I think Battle Line. Most people would agree. Yeah, that's one of his best games. One of the best games of all time. It's so brilliant.
Yeah. So brilliant, elegant, simple, but very, very deep.
Yep.
So
and a lot, and spawned like a whole a style of game. This idea of, okay, we're just on opposite sides of a battle line. We're going to take turns playing cards to, because we have all these lanes, I guess you'd call them, or these columns. I'm going to play over here. You're going to play over there.
Columns.
You see, there's been dozens of games, but none of them has supplanted this, or the original Shot and Totten. Because it is. I mean, it's just about sheer perfection. All the mind games that go into it and all of that, but it's too much for my simple brain.
I like that.
Do you play this with your husband?
Yes,
I
lot.
bet.
Card games are That's also, this is pretty abstract. Like, it's just, if you think about it, you really don't need a theme. It could be, what does Shot and Totten mean?
I don't know. I have no idea what Shot and Totten is even about. I want to say it's about like collecting furniture or something. I kind of feel like, because it's weird. Shot and Totten came out, and then he brought out Battle Line, which is the same game, but I think that's when he added the special power cards. And then a few years later, or actually not that long ago, Shot and Totten got a reprint with like completely new deluxe art, and it brought those special power cards back into Shot and Totten or something like that.
Yeah. No, I know the game. I just don't know what Shot and Totten means.
You're Australians, I'm American. We don't have any Germans here to explain it. Yeah, good call. I can't argue with this. It makes me wonder. You each have 2 more, and so I'm wondering if we'll see Reiner Knizia again before we are done. That would be very interesting. But no one can know. Who knows? We'll see. Let's move on to my number 2, though. Mandala. I think this is our third Uwe Rosenberg game we have talked about today. Between Patchwork and I forgot the one I mentioned, but this one is brilliant. It's a 2-player only game, no solo mode or anything like that. It's again a game where 2 players are on opposite side of a line, but there's only 2 lanes. And we're doing definite area control on one side or the other. And you have your hand of cards. You can either play the cards to your side of the line to try to build up a stronger claim, or you can build it to the wall itself, because the cards you put on the wall are what we're actually competing for. If I want to win a particular card, because it might be worth 2 or 3 points to me, I put it on the wall thinking, yeah, this is a wall I'm going to be able to win. but you might eventually win it. The tricky thing is, basically all the cards are colored sand, because a mandala is a real-world work of art where these monks, I believe they're Buddhist monks, spend months creating these beautiful sand sculptures with all kinds of different colors, and then when they're done, they wash them all away in the river as a kind of a cleansing life cycle rebirth thing. And that's kind of what we're doing here. The tricky thing is, I've got all these different sand cards. I can play a card to my side of the line, so I'm trying to, get more area control. The more cards I've got on my side, the stronger claim I have. Or I can play it to the wall, because that means there's going to be more points. The tricky thing is, once I play, say, a green card on my side, or I put it on the wall, that's the only place green cards can go. So if I've got a bunch of green cards and I really want to win this, I start putting them on my side. Oh, and you have some green cards, too bad, you can't use them. They've already been taken. But if I've got a bunch of green cards and then you put a green card on the wall, all of a sudden, that's the only place I can put them. I can't put them on my side, and that was my biggest, strongest asset to be able to win this thing. So that's brilliant. It's a really simple system that works so well. But what gets really interesting is once, basically, I think once all the colors, an example of every color has been played to one of the two lanes, we resolve it. Whoever had the biggest claim doesn't win the entire contents of the wall. We take turns splitting it up. So if after it's all done and there's two blacks and a blue and a purple and a yellow, I say, I get first dibs. I'll take the two black. And then I'll take the purple, and then you take the yellow. And so it's interesting. This is an area control game where it's not all or nothing. It's not winner take all.
Yeah.
We get to divide. And the interesting thing is, that's an interesting element too, because for you, black cards might only be worth 2 points, but for me, they're worth 4 points. And if you win this thing, you might take those black cards that aren't worth much to you just to keep them from me. It's
the hate drop.
It is brilliant. It is so sharp, so smart, and you have to be so careful because you've got your hand of cards and you're not refilling your hand automatically. The way you refill your hand of cards to get more so you can lay more claim is by putting stuff on the wall, putting them on the score. And that's how you get new cards, but that also means, well, if you win this wall, you get first dibs, I might be helping you more than me. It's got a lot going on. There's just really tons of subtle layers of depth to it, even though on the surface it's incredibly simple. I think it's just infinitely replayable. It's brilliant. I think it's one of those games that will definitely stand the test of time. I was blown away by it the first time I played it. With Suzanne Sheldon of the Dice Tower, who sat me down and said, I know you don't play abstracts, you're going to play this one with me. And she was right. I went and got it that day, and Jen and I love it. It's my number 2, Mandala.
I missed this.
I know, me too. I like that game with that sense of agency where you said earlier you need to put it there first before your opponent put it there first. So that sense of agency, I think in Seastead and other games is also that sort of thing. It's really brilliant by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And again, an area control game where everybody wins, everybody gets something. Yay! Yeah. I want to see more of that in the world.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a participation trophy. What's wrong with the participation? I like participation trophies. All right, so anyway.
I like participation trophies.
That was my number 2. Yeah. Let's move on to Stella's number 2. Here we go. Shift T. Here it comes.
What as I said earlier, you should recognize this game.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I don't think this would need more introduction, and you might have it, Ella might have it as well in number 2 or 1, maybe not. So a 2-player version of Seven Wonder Duel, all of the 3 of us has played it.
Yes.
It is a really good, I don't know what else I can say that you don't already know. The tug of war military, I mentioned earlier, one of those there, you might want to do it because you're preventing from your opponent to do it rather than where it's more point for yourself. It's got a hate draft as well. There's got a really interesting, clever way of protecting your military and science, while also you have to maintain what resources you have. So it's really tight which card you want to choose, which one you want to let your opponents have by, flipping those cards like that. Yep. It could be something that they really, really need. Forces you to defend against your opponent's specializing. So
I mean, it's amazing how it captures so much of Seven Wonders. in such a simple little footprint. It's got the science, it's got the military, it's got the blue civic stuff, it's got everything. It's got the building of the wonders. And it's absolutely brilliant. And now that it's here, I will be shocked if this is the last time we hear about it today. I will be shocked, I tell you. But it's not going to be on my list.
Ella can't say anything.
To this is really great. The expansion. I love the expansion. It actually didn't make my list. I was
I am
this,
shocked.
But it's in my...
As promised.
I am shocked too. Like my shock face.
I know. Because I was thinking of not choosing ones that are dual. Like I want a dual version of something that was a. So I don't. So I didn't choose board games that had a dual version. So a lot of those.
Is that the case? Is it Blitzkrieg
this is one of my favorite
kind
games.
of a dual version of Twilight Struggle? Kinda.
Well, Twilight Struggle is the dual.
Yeah, and you can only build 7 wonders, so you have to, it's like a
but I
race
have
to build
regrets
the
now.
wonders.
I have major regrets.
Yep. Yes,
right.
we all have regrets. I do not have it on my list, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't because I do think it's absolutely brilliant. But I don't know why. I mean, the original 7 Wonders had a wonderful, I thought, brilliant live and let live military system where, hey, we're all competing on military, but it just means if I win, I get points and you don't, or you lose a couple points. But here, the military being, we're going to push on this and I'm going to rob from you. And actually, it's even worse. It's not like I'm going to steal your money. I'm going to take your money and I'm going to set it on fire in front of you. It's like, insult to injury. Why is this here? I mean, and it really felt very aggressive to us. And so much nastier than anything that was ever in 7 Wonders. So it was never really a keeper for us. Although, I mean, I do think it's interesting. I don't know if you heard about it. It was on Kickstarter earlier this year. I don't remember the name of it. It was like the assassination trial of Abraham Lincoln or something like that. Except it wasn't. It was like Unforgiven, the assassination trial of Abraham Lincoln, which has a lot of the same core features. The pyramid style card draft, which is so brilliant. I mean, taking Pyramid Solitaire. My dad played this game to death when I was a kid. I always watched him playing this. And why did it take so long for somebody to take that classic Pyramid Solitaire thing and turn it into an interesting Euro game? Yeah. It's so smart. But I mean, it was just too mean for us, so we went back to 7 Wonders. Plus, now, I kind of have a bone to pick with 7 Wonders Duel because the publisher, I don't know if you saw, the new Anniversary Deluxe version of 7 Wonders, they took out the 2-player rules. 7 Wonders is officially no longer a 2-player game because their feeling is, well, just go play 7 Wonders Duel. And I would if it wasn't a cold-hearted game of really nasty backstabbing cutthroatedness that 7 Wonders never was. So that's kind of where I come down on it. But I don't blame you. It's brilliant. It is so smart.
Oh, got it.
That's fair. Fair.
It's a cold-hearted game.
Look into its eyes.
The head draft is really, really strong.
Yeah. That's the reason why it's not on my list.
There you go. I'll buy that.
You changed your mind.
I'll take it.
You changed your
I'll
mind.
definitely take it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Except my next
Well, let's
game
see. Let's see. I'm sure this will make perfect sense based on what you just said.
It's gonna be
oh my gosh!
So I play a lot of coin games, and surprisingly, I thought I would hate coin games because of the reason they're very attacky. But so this
Tell
is
us what a coin
one of
game
the few
is.
ones.
A lot of people won't know what that means.
So a coin game is. Yeah, so coin means counter-insurgency. So in all the games that are set in different time in history. So there's Roman Empire, there's the Vietnam War. This one, Colonial Twilight, is in the French-Algerian War of 1954 to 1962. Okay, you can play the solo with a bot, wherein you play the insurgent camp. But anyway, so the two sides are the French colonial government, and then you have the French Liberation Nationale. It's an area control game. So the French is very invested in Algeria. They put in money, forces, resources. Of course, the French colonial, the FLN, want to kick them out. This reminds me very much of the Philippines and the way it works because the FLN, which is the insurgent camp, they hide under the darkness. So most of them are in the mountains because they're an insurgent, group. It's like the NPA in the Philippines, the National People's Army. So what you need to do mechanically you have to root them out, so reveal them and then get rid of them. So that's the mechanic. So, and then I like a lot of coin games just because of that. They give you a very precise way to win. So this is your path to victory. Okay, I'm gonna go do all these things and I'm gonna get there. But I look to the side and my opponent is also very near to their victory condition. So the tension is always, okay, I want to do this, it's advancing me, but if I'm not careful, I'm going to miss out and my opponent is going to get there first. So that's the tension always. So in 4-player games, sometimes like in Root, you're trying to catch the runaway leader, but because Colonial Twilight is 2-player, it's very much a, how do you say that? It's an American saying, knife fight in a phone booth. So it's very...
That's true.
Yes.
Coin games normally, they're like 4-player games, right? Because they represent 4 completely different factions on these real historical, political and wartime conflicts. And this is a 2-player only one. Yeah. Okay. Is that, and so that's unusual.
That's a 2-player only one.
Is this the only one that's a 2-player only?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually very brilliant because in the 4-player games, the way that you do initiative is you have a card and there are symbols on top and it tells you what your order is. And then you're going to choose, am I going to choose the more powerful option? And then, but later on, I'll go like later on in the initiative track. But here, there's a circular initiative track. So if I choose, and I choose the same thing, stronger option, I'm going to go first now, but later on I'm going to go second. So that might not be a good thing because my opponent is, set up to do a lot of things that are better than mine. So that's another layer of consideration that you have to think about. So, yeah. I just love coin games, but also when we play this, like the last one we played, we would have like a documentary about the Roman Empire playing. We just nerd it out. Wow. So and a lot of my friends are history buffs, so I learn a lot of things. So it's just like an enjoyable event. It's not in my number one just because it takes hours and hours and hours to play. Like the first game that I played with the teach is like 5 to 7 hours. This one was 3 to 4. Yeah, it's
almost
long.
as long as this top 10.
The only good... Yeah. But this one, if you know, the advantage of knowing a coin game though, if you know the system, it kind of carries over and it's less, things to learn.
Learning curve.
Yeah, the learning curve is less. Yeah, but it is a time investment, so it's very hard to get
coin
to the
games are very card driven as well, right?
Very card driven, very great. Yeah, because there will be an event, and then I'll choose this event, but then the other person.
That's what I was going to ask.
Will have this event available to them.
So it is the same kind of idea as what's in Twilight Struggle. That I've got these cards, I can play this one because it's good for me, but oh dear, it's actually going to be better for you, kind of a thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why don't we have
it could be good
in a
for
Euro
you.
game? Why has nobody brought this to a Euro? It's only just war. It's so brilliant.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
Except, let's see but yeah, it's a time investment, and I don't have a lot of time. So actually, I don't, you have to carve out time for this. But yeah, that coin series in general, Colonial Twilight for 2 players.
And what is coin again? It's
counter-insurgency. So you always have a government faction who's trying to stabilize things, and an insurgent faction who's like trying to get rid of the oppressor or the government or whatever their feelings, like sentiments are. Yeah. Who's that? Is that me?
It's a coin fan. Definitely.
That doesn't look like...
All right. Wow.
Yes.
I have an idea for our number one. Perhaps we should leave Richard's number one last, maybe? I don't know. Right. It's like building up. I don't know. Just an idea, because this is your audience. So we probably maybe leave your number one last.
Maybe. Let's see. Maybe. No, we can do.
Oh, we can just keep going. We can keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
we can keep going.
I know what it is.
Depends on the windows
it's pretty straightforward. I mean, maybe you'd know it.
Yeah?
And I have no idea what L is going to be. Because she's got Twilight
Oh, I
Struggle,
swing so much.
Coin, and Klask. And I mean, I mean, talk about an omni gamer. I mean, and you were all over the place too, Stella. And I mean that in a good way. Me, I am so in my lane. I am just very predictable. More power to you both. Oh yeah, I mean, sure, okay. All right, well, for the last one, Ella, you're up again. We're gonna reverse we're gonna reverse the streams. We're going right to your number one. Let's see what we got. Boom. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I think that will be okay. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Here it comes. Hey!
Dun.
Oh, of course.
It's Watergate.
Yay, Watergate.
Watergate.
I love this game. And talk about distilling everything that was good in Twilight Struggle and Coin Games into a shorter game. This is it. So it has the mechanic of you have a card, you can play it as an event, but it goes away forever. So therefore, you're burning cards, much like in Twilight Struggle. Or you can play it as the number on top, which is moving the tiles towards your end. So that's also like in a sort of related like area control, like moving all those tiles towards your end so that you can get to the. Oh, sorry.
This is part of a. Oh,
that's
right,
a comparison.
Okay, you got several games covered here.
It's a comparison. Yeah.
Oh no!
Okay.
I have to refresh the whole thing. Get back to the.
Sorry about that.
Watergate
you can freeze it. You can freeze it on that. So Watergate, basically you're playing as Nixon and then the press, who's trying to cover all his shady dealings. And what you need to do as Nixon is to survive your presidency without being unmasked by the press. And as the press, you need to connect all of these evidence tokens and link them with all the witnesses so that you can pin all the evidence towards Nixon. I forgot what was it. What was it? Oh, it was the tapes. He was taping the Republican Party, wasn't it? He was doing secret tapes of them. Yeah. So this is a tug of war between these two sides, and you have those dual cards, you have those events, and those meaty choices, but all in a short package. So it has the same feeling as Twilight Struggle, but shorter and faster, and it's number one. And the maker of the person who made Glenmore, I was so surprised that the person who made Glenmore made this just because it's very different.
Matthias Kramer?
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's from Matthias Kramer.
Matthias Kramer is in my top 10 designers of all time.
Yeah,
There you go.
this.
You haven't played this?
Play this forever,
Yeah.
but I know that it's basically Twilight Struggle in like a tiny little package, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not mean. Like you can't. Well, it is a little bit mean because they can turn over the evidence, but also it's all about card management. Like, how am I gonna play my cards? Because after a while, when you're playing it over and over again, you kind of know what your cards are, and you know what the cards the opponent has, and some of them are very, very strong. So you're like, oh, is that card in their hand? Should I play this now, or in order for me to prevent that card from being played? So I love it. I just love it so much. Like, it's one of the best two-player games.
You're not alone in that. I mean,
can't rave about it enough.
Yeah, a lot of people like it. I think I've found this one. I think I like it better than Tarrant because for Tarrant it makes him a little bit frustrated every time he tried to achieve something that he couldn't achieve it because I cancelled it or something. So it's got that one, but so it doesn't get played as much because of that, I think. So other than that, it is. I can see where it's.
Is Tarrant the Care Bear of your guys' gaming community?
The Care Bear.
Is he or?
Yeah, like less mean. Do they like less mean games?
Oh.
No. He
really,
just gets frustrated by this one.
No.
He will he just got frustrated. He will do whatever it is that he needs based on the best strategy, not based on anything else. So he will do it.
Yeah.
And I know he will do it. That's why I don't mind doing things for him because he would do it. He will never get upset because he understands as well.
Sure.
So he's not the kind. Yeah. Probably me.
Yeah, and this one can be any theme also. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense because it's Richard Nixon and, the press. So it's like a tug of war between the two. So we can think about
Unlike Twilight Struggle or the Coin Games, this, you're right, this is card-driven too, but this doesn't have the, hey, I'm going to play a card and it's going to help you as well, right? I'm looking at the cards that are on screen and these don't seem to.
No, not as much. Not as much. No.
So that's one thing it's missing.
So this is more like tug of war.
Would you say that's kind of what's missing compared to that and, like playing 5 times longer?
Yeah, you're right. That would be so hard to make in a card game. Can you imagine? Like, maybe half and half. Yeah. Yeah, we should tell them. I'm gonna email now. Sir Matthias Kramer.
There you go. Yeah.
Can you make a game like this with maybe different theme with Prisoner's Dilemma?
Yeah.
Good call. An
Very good.
excellent call. I'm sure many people will agree with you on that as a number one.
Yep.
Still not better than Targi, but still. Okay, Stella.
So my
Hold on,
number
let me
one
find it. Let me
is,
find
as I said earlier,
every-
those three games, kind of like the top one, but this is, but it's hard for me to number 1 to 3, but this is the one that I play the most.
Oh.
I would bring it everywhere. We bring it on our wedding honeymoon. We just bring Codenames Duet, and play it. We are so bad at it. I can't get Taryn, but this is why we're hoping that one day I'll give a clue that Taryn will understand, and Taryn will give a clue that is not too obscure that I would get it. And this is just so easy game. It's a cooperative, and we're talking about cooperative game. This is the cooperative two-player
Yes,
game.
is this our second
I
co-op
think it
game on
is-
the list? I think it is.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yay. So I think it is a little bit more underrated. I know that Codenames is like wow big, but Codenames Duet is not as good, as popular as Codenames. It can be played, or I heard like you can house rule it, so you can play more than 2 players. But it's such a good partner game, a very fun cooperative. It's good for a couple maybe to have some cooperative game. I don't know.
I should play more co-op.
Codenames Duet is just so good. It's like the word game that works better with your partner.
Yeah.
That's
we
Codenames
we
Duet,
like
yeah.
it a lot. Actually, there's a lot of these kinds of games for 2 players, or for more players, where it is all about trying to get into the head of the opponent. Okay, you can't talk. We have imperfect communication.
Yes.
And I love imperfect communication. And Jen and I are actually, sounds like unlike you and Taryn, Jen and I are actually very good at it. We're very, very good at intuiting.
Yes.
When you've been married as long as us, I'm sure you'll get there, Stella. I'm sure you'll get there.
Oh no.
I mean, we're coming up on
I think
30
me and
years,
Taryn's
so
like,
we're
oh, well
not there
done.
yet.
When
We're
is
gonna
that?
make it, I think I like
This
our
year.
chances.
This
30
year.
years. Wow, good job.
This year 30 years. The next year 30
Oh,
years.
no. It's a few years off. Actually, hold on. I have it
Okay.
on the inside of my wedding ring.
Oh
Your
wow.
ring.
Yeah, 91.
Ah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
91. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Geez, Louise. We've been long enough to where we kind of both lose track now, basically.
Yeah. That's a good
this
thing.
is a good one. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you prefer playing team Codenames over co-op or 2-player Codenames?
I think I like the 2 players better.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Really?
Yeah, because it's, I don't know, I only have played this with
Okay.
parents, and I really do enjoy trying. This is like, we are so different. The way we think is so different. That's probably this is where the couple that is so different,
Okay.
like we fill each other's gaps in terms
Right.
of relationship, and also Meeple University. Like he's good at these things and I'm good at these things. That's why we work well together. And this is where I'm always trying to get into Terrence's head to see, okay, this is what I think, hopefully you'll get it. And he never get it yet. And he's trying to give me this thing that I try to get, but I don't get it. This is why we're bad at this. But we really like it for the hope that we'll get it one day.
That's awesome.
Hope springs
It's like,
eternal.
I guess it's a bit more
Yeah, and
personal.
there's a
so
brilliant twist
that's
to
my
it
number
too over regular team-based code names, which is in team-based code names, there's the one player who's the code giver and has to come up with something really clever that's brilliant, and everybody else is just standing around waiting. And you're like, you're under so much pressure. And here, both players are playing both roles at the same time. I'm trying to figure out your clue while coming up with a clue for you at the same time.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is why I like it. One of the reasons as well, I like this one better than the group code names.
Totally.
But again, I haven't played this, but apparently people can play Codenames Duet in a group. Sorry, I think my headset has got low battery.
Oh no! We're almost there.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, she's switching iPods or switching Bluetooth. All right.
We should be okay. How
She's
about
not
you,
wired
Ella? Ella
like
has got the
Ella
same
and I.
headset as me.
We're kicking it old school with proper actual cables plugged into our heads.
No, I charged mine
Oh, okay.
this
Oh no, I'm
morning,
the only
so
one
I'm
kicking
fine.
it old school. with an actual old-style
Okay.
earbud. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good call. Why didn't I consider that one? Honestly, I just didn't even consider it, and I probably should have for my top 10. Now that I think about it, I think I kind of
Regrets.
forgot about it
Regrets.
because I just kind of classified
Yeah.
under the Codename umbrella, and I just didn't even think about it. And if I
Yeah.
had, I might have put it on my top 10.
I guess it's
I
like
haven't
Ella
played
that
it.
you forgot about the Duet and Duel version of
Yeah.
things. That is, that you could include.
Yeah.
There's so many games, so many great games out there. We only like barely scratched
yeah.
the surface. Maybe there are other games that we have not played that is also
Yeah.
really good. That
Well, I
haven't
think, I
played.
mean, you reminding me of this. This is probably given me my regret that I really think I probably should have put this on my list as well, and it just kind of brushed under the rug because I grouped it in with regular Codenames. Because, by the way, for the record, regular Codenames is a really great cooperative two-player game too. Although this is definitely better. All right, well, good call, good call. I might allow that one over Targi. I might. But not that I'm really obsessed with Targi. Targi, if there's one thing you take away from this video,
I
folks,
noticed.
Yeah. Is it your number one?
no, it's
Okay,
not
what is
because
your
it
number
was
one
on
now?
it was on my list 5 years ago,
Okay, it's
so it
new.
didn't make it this time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
My
yeah,
number
yeah.
one almost feels anticlimactic because I should have done this. My number one is Circle the Wagons from Button Shy Games.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this one.
No,
it is a little
no.
micro
One of
game.
those small
It
cards.
is 18 cards. All the cards are two-sided. On one side, you've got a little 2x2 grid of old American West things like pickaxes and revolvers and buildings and whiskey barrels and wagons and stuff like that. And on the other side, you've got, on these 18 cards, you've got 18 completely different objectives. When you set the game up, you randomly pull 3 cards, flip them over, those are the objectives. And then you take the rest of the cards and you
Right.
circle them around the 3 objectives. And this is, and on my turn, it's for 2 players, I can take the next card. It's very Patchwork-like. Actually, it's full circle. We started with Patchwork style thing.
Yeah.
We're kind of ending with the Patchwork style thing because on my turn, I can take the next card that's available, or I can skip ahead because the card that's 3 further down on the rondelle, that's the one I really want. If every card I
Right.
skip, I give to you, my opponent. And that's painful because we then take these cards and we patch them together. And I don't know what you call this style of game where you have a whole bunch of cards and you stack them on top or you slide them underneath and you leave certain things open to try to create patterns and whatnot. I love this mechanism in so many games, and this is one of the best ones I've ever seen. It's a quick 10-minute game. It has so much gameplay because every one of those cards has a unique gameplay, and the way these different objectives mix and match together makes the game feel radically different from game to game. And it's just incredibly tight and fast because we can both see, based on these 3 objectives in this game, whiskey bottles are everything. We must get them. And the
Right.
first whiskey bottle is 5 cards around. Okay, I could jump right to it and I'll give you 4 cards. Okay, so I don't do that. So I'll take the next one. And then you could jump 3 forward and give me 2 cards. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to give it to me? And
Right.
it's just pitch perfect, a tight, fast little playing game that you could easily play 2, 3, or 4 times just back to back, and it'll play so radically different every time with all the different mechanisms. It is absolutely brilliant. I mean, Button Shy has made a
On my
name for
list.
themselves with these kinds of little micro games, and I mean, this is high watermark stuff. I'm absolutely blown away by it. Talking about now, I would
Circle
happily
the
go and
Wagons.
play it with Jen. And it's just one of the best games we've played in years. It's my number one, Circle the Wagons. And I don't know if either of you have played it. Probably not.
No,
I haven't.
No, I haven't either. But we can probably go to their website and buy the
Yes.
pre
Yeah. I
version.
mean, because that's
Yeah.
their thing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
literally 18 cards. They come in these nice little pouches that you can carry in your pocket.
Pouch,
Yeah,
yeah.
I cannot
Yeah,
recommend
bring it anywhere.
Okay.
enough. Phew, we made it.
The mechanic reminds me of Cafe.
Yes.
Have you played Cafe?
Is
I
another
haven't played
example
Cafe.
of that kind of patching cards together. Cafe is brilliant. If Cafe was a 2-player only
Brilliant.
game,
Not
it probably would have
two-player.
been on this list. But you can play it higher
Me too.
player count. Whereas this one is only for 2 players. I think it actually does have solo rules as well, although I haven't tried those. Or I think you can download.
It does.
Yeah.
I played.
But it's fantastic. Although I think, honestly, both of you ended stronger with some really big crowd pleasers. And I'm still kicking myself over Codenames Duet. Oh, man. I probably should have been right there with you.
Oh no! A special mention.
There you
can
go,
do a
yes.
special mention. I think
Well,
we
hey,
all
we're here at the
we
end.
all
Does
have
anybody have
regrets
anything
as well.
that they want? My next one on the list was going to be Seastead. So I'm really glad you called it out. But now I think my next one on the list might be Codenames Duet and then Seastead after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine might be Seven Wonders Duel, and I have regrets about that. If I would have had Unmatched, but then I looked on BGG and found out that you can play
players.
Unmatched would have been great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, as I understand it, it's not bad. It's not one of those things where, oh, by the way, it also has a 4-player, but nobody would ever do it. Apparently, it's a very interesting team way to play, I guess.
Yeah. 2 versus 2. I played it. It's fun. My regret is Ayla and something shiny.
Huh?
It's a special mention, I would say. So that's the like Ella say, your number 10 game. You're adventuring, so you reveal cards, and it takes you to another card, but it's a different adventure. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Ayla and something.
Well, I like that
shiny.
art.
I watched your video of
nice.
that. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, this is by Ice Max, who made Age of Civilization, Age of Galaxy, very different game. Age of Galaxy is coming up.
Okay.
So, the same designer that does those 2 games, Age of Civilization and Age of Galaxy, and I don't know, I haven't actually played their previous games. That's actually my photo there. One of them mine, I think.
On BGG.
Which one? I should go to that one. Which one was it?
It's just the bunny and the box. It doesn't actually show you anything, so any photos will do. So it comes with plushie. It is a gentle adventure game, also with like family. Solo. Is it solo? I can't remember now. Is it solo? Pretty sure it plays solo. Yeah.
So this is an adventure story thing. It's got a bunch of
1 to 3 players.
Okay, then it's off the list. 3 players?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot. Dang.
Oh, I remember Sparks. Sparks could be on my list. That's 1 to 2 players. Sparks is lovely.
Sparks?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Parks.
Sparks.
Wait, no, Sparks is not a 2-player game.
For some reason, I thought
Sparks is a 4-player, I think.
Is it 1 to 2?
Nope. You must be thinking
no,
of
1
something
to
else.
5.
Right, 1 to 5.
You must be thinking of a different one, I think. You might be thinking
Sorry.
of Morels, maybe? Which Morels has
No,
kind
I
of
was
a
thinking Parks
vibe.
because I only play a lot of games 2 players, so I always think they're 2 player, and then you find out it's 5 or 4.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think the longer
That's
we keep
fair.
going, we're going to come up with fewer and fewer 2-player only games if we keep this up. So.
I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. I mean, you guys both had fantastic lists with some really interesting stuff. I mean, I was surprised how many I'd never even heard of. And I'm kind of embarrassed by that a little bit, too. Because I'm kind of like the 2-player couples guy. That's kind of my thing. So...
There's so many games, many games. So
awesome.
And when you think that you know everything, you don't, sort of thing.
Well, it was wonderful having you on. Like I said, folks, right up front, if you go check out the links in the show notes, you can find both Ella and Stella's channels. And if you watch, you'll probably find the 2 of them collaborating because they're very good friends in real life. My favorite thing from Stella, I think one of the first videos I ever saw of yours that I posted on was a short and sweet. She has her short and sweet where, I mean, and that's what most of your videos were, which made it very difficult to show them because they were so short in this long form top 10. Really, really great stuff. And Ella, I mean, you just do so much. You have so much variety and a lot of live streaming stuff as well. Actually, both of you do a lot of live streaming. And I mean, as we briefly saw in that one where your Watergate stuff, you have incredibly high production values too. I mean, really nice looking stuff.
Yeah.
I try my best.
Yeah.
That one was like this, like that. I recommend games based on games I already love. So, because that's how you find games, right? You like this game, what else do you like? So that's
a good one.
Thing I
That
make.
is a good series. Okay. Well, then, folks, I think we have made it to the end. It is 8:12 at night. We started over 2.5 hours ago. I've completely missed dinner, and I think it's the early afternoon for the 2 of you down under. So... I think that's it. And again, thank you. I had a really great time. Wonderful lists. Sorry if I overtalked. I tend to overtalk a lot, and I apologize for that.
No. I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Not at all.
Awesome. And now I'm
Very
going to
good.
hang up,
So
and then we
lovely
can all
to be
start
here.
cursing like sailors because you're both Australian, and I know you've been holding it in for so long. Awesome.
Lovely to be here. Thank you so much again for having us here. It was fun.
Awesome. All right, and that's it for folks. Links lists of all of these are down in the show notes. Check out their channels; they're both great, and I'll keep watching too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Where's my stop big red button? There it is. Bye bye. And I didn't actually hit the button, but now I can hit the button while you guys were all.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
All right.
Okay, I will
should-
stop
This is
recording.
always the scary
gonna
part, where I'm always afraid everything